It's time for Twig This Week in Google. We're recording at a different time with a somewhat different cast because we're about to go live to Google I/O at Shoreline Amphitheater in Mountain View, California, where Sundar Pichai is about to take the stage and describe Google's plans, we think, for AI. I think it's almost all AI. There might be a little Android in there. I'm not sure. Jeff Jarvis will be joining me, and from the Big Technology podcast and Big Technology newsletter, the very, very smart Alex Kantrowitz. Our coverage of Google AI next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 768, recorded Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. Google AI. Hello, everybody. We are about to go to Google I/O in Mountain View. Jeff Jarvis, good to see you today.
Oh, I wish I were there.
I know. Usually you are. Do they have, I guess they're going to do it at Shoreline? Are there live people there? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Shoreline. Now,
Okay.
Jason is there. The Android crew is there.
Oh, good. Okay. So they did invite some people to sit in the...
I want to hear what swag they were shooting out I/O bathrobes. You missed that.
A little bit. Alex Kantrowitz will join us, and we will cover. I have been playing. We got up early yesterday. Well, not really. It was 1 o'clock for you.
You were still complaining.
To watch the Chat GPT 4.0 release from OpenAI, and I had it almost immediately. Been playing it with it since, but unfortunately, well, I'll give you. What do we expect from Google I/O this year? Let's see what. Thinking.
Thought it was faster.
Thinking.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Our systems are experiencing heavy load. Please try again later.
It's been this way all morning.
And it's not that cheery voice. It's the customer service voice.
No, that is what I've been using all along, the Scarlett Johansson voice, but without the cheery prosody. But you know what?
Having issues right now.
Yeah.
Systems are experiencing heavy load.
I know, but you know what? We're going to have to go to Google I/O right now. So I'm sorry, Scarlett. Time for Google's big developer conference, Google I/O. Once a year, they get a chance to tell us what they're up to, and we expect a lot of AI today. Sundar Pichai starting us off? No, just...
Google's ambitions in artificial intelligence.
Google launches Gemini.
AI is rolling out to Workspace. And it's completely changing the way we work.
Gemini, by the way, working quite well this morning.
Happened in a year. There have been new beginnings.
Maybe a symptom of lack of interest. I don't know.
To find new ideas and new solutions to age-old problems. Sorry about your shirt. We dreamt of things. Never too old for a treehouse. We trained for things.
I'm sorry.
Please try again.
And learned about this.
ChatGPT.
That's OpenAI talking, not
Still
Google
trying, yes.
asking for more time.
This is moving. Maybe it's my age, but this is moving awfully fast for me. I don't know.
We filled days like they were weeks, and more happened in months than has happened in years.
It's just blah, 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 throwing stuff at the spaghetti at the wall here.
Spaghetti at the wall.
There's a chicken running for some reason. There's stuff, papers, but we don't really get a time to see what they do. There's a mover with a planter on his head. There's some guy doing something. This is way too fast for me.
Oh!
I think it's just to give you a general impression that things are moving quickly and AI is helpful for everyone, and that's all you really need to know.
And you know what?
No more questions.
We're just getting started.
Oh, are we? Well, let's find out. Google I/O has been long on promises in years past and short on delivering. Alex Kantrowitz joining us from Big Technology Podcast. Hi, Alex. Good to see you.
Hello, Alex.
Hey, Leo. Hey, Jeff. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Here's Sundar Pichai.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Oh. That is a fairly tepid,
Welcome to Google I/O.
put to sleep
Great
by
to
the
have all of
bathrobe
you
dealing
with us.
DJ.
We have a few thousand developers with us here today at Shoreline. Millions more are joining virtually around the world. Thanks to everyone for being here. For those of you who haven't seen I/O before, it's basically Google's version of the Era store.
He's talking about
Google has
Fewer
this weird
costume
obsession with Taylor Swift. They also
Does
call it
he?
the Gemini
At Google,
era.
though,
It's
we are
like,
fully in our
is this who you,
Gemini
I mean,
era. You'll
the
hear a lot
self-awareness
about
is
that
pretty
today.
impressive.
Before we get into it, I want to reflect on this moment we are in. We've been
Okay.
investing in AI for more than a decade and innovating at every layer of the stack. Research, product, infrastructure.
I mean, this has been true.
We're gonna
Google
talk about it
has
all
been
today.
ahead
Still, we are in the very early days
on
of
integrating AI in everything they do.
We see so much
They
opportunity
just don't
ahead
get credit for it.
for creators, for developers, for startups, for
I think you make a strong
everyone.
case that Microsoft has put
Helping
its
to drive
Copilot
those
product, which is
opportunities,
basically
what our Gemini era is all
OpenAI,
about.
into every possible
started.
crevice of Windows.
A year
In the
on
last-
stage,
But it's been the last 6
9 months.
Yeah,
Plans
yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah.
Gemini. A frontier model built to be natively multimodal from the very beginning that could reason across.
I mean, Google
text,
created
images,
Transformer. Google started
code, and more.
integrating
It's
Transformer.
a big
Right.
step in turning any input into
And-
any output.
And Google has been the parent of so many of
I/O
these
for a
other
new
companies,
generation.
including
Since
Anthropic
then,
and
we introduced the first Gemini models, our most capable. yet.
Perplexity.
They demonstrated state-of-the-art.
Can I just say what's nice here is there's like some real coherence in the message
was
that
just
we're
the
already
beginning.
seeing from Google. Like usually
months
they
later,
are like all
we
over the place. They
introduced
can't really
Gemini
tell what they
1.5
want to
Pro,
Right.
talk to you
delivering
about. Is
a
it going to
big
be
breakthrough in
their,
long
VR? Is it going to be
You can
the
run 1
Android? Is it
million
going to be
tokens in
search or
production
maps?
consistently,
And I think today what
more
we're really
than
going to see
any
is
other
just an
large-scale
event
foundation.
entirely focused on artificial
want
intelligence.
everyone
And
to
we're already
benefit
seeing
from
that
what
on the
Gemini
screen.
can do.
And it's actually
So we
refreshing
work
from
quickly
Google
to
that we
share these
actually
advances
know
with all
what they're
of
going to
you.
be talking about,
Today,
and they have
more
a
than
coherent
1.5
message about
million
it.
developers
True.
use Gemini.
Though I
models
still want a
across
Chromebook from them.
You're using it to debug code, get new insights, and to build the next generation of AI.
They released the Pixel 8a
We've also
at the
been
same day
bringing
that Apple
Gemini's
announced its new
breakthrough
iPads last week.
capabilities across
And as a
our
result,
products
got
in
no
powerful
attention
ways.
at all. I wonder if they're going
We'll
to try to
show
recoup
examples
that loss.
today across
today.
search.
I wonder if the crew who's there will get one.
Yeah.
Today, all of our
They've
2 billion
absolutely
user
sandwiched their
products
event.
use
I mean,
Gemini.
maybe it's not
And we've
events have really
introduced new
sandwiched this one,
experiences too,
right? Well, I guess it's
including on
two sides of
mobile, where
bread. An
people
open-faced
can
sandwich
interact
with
with
the
Gemini
iPad
directly through the app.
event, and then yesterday's
Now available
OpenAI
on
Yeah.
Android and
event.
iOS.
So it's really incumbent
Two
upon
Gemini
Google to just
advanced,
come out
which
swinging in a
provides
big way, and I
access
think
to
they know
our
that.
most capable models.
I've been playing with
Over
Gemini
1 million
Advanced,
people
and I
have
really
signed
like
up
it.
to
I think
try
it's
it in
quite
just
good.
3
It's
months, and it continues to
I
show
would say
strong
on a par
momentum.
with
One of the most
ChatGPT 4.
exciting transformations
4.0 in the
has been Google
benchmarks I've
Search.
seen so far is a
In the
little bit
past
dumber
year,
than
we've
ChatGPT 4,
answered billions
but a
of
little
queries
friendlier, a little
as
more
part of
chatty,
our search generative experience.
and faster, the real key.
People are using it
Although,
to
as I
search
pointed out
in
earlier this
entirely new
morning,
ways,
it's not been
asking
fast.
new types
It's
of
not working.
Down.
longer and more complex
Too
Well,
queries.
I was
Too many
like,
people
oh,
using it.
Even searching with
People, Sam Altman
Getting
tweeted
back
out,
the
"This
best
is
of the
her,"
best to all.
right? He just tweeted out one word.
Yeah, one word, her.
Last night.
Yeah.
And I tried to use the 4.0 this morning and just couldn't get through at all.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, so this really is they've nailed the AI girlfriend, which is super flirty on the first meeting and then doesn't answer your text the next day.
It's a little too much information from you there, Alex. A little too much
I'm married
experience.
now, but I definitely experienced a lot of that.
ChatGPT 4 Ghost, we call her, and all right, let's see what's going on here.
So
Okay.
much innovation happening
We've been
in search.
We've been
Thanks to
ignoring
Gemini,
poor
Who's
Sundar.
vamping?
we can create much more powerful search experiences, including within our products. Let me show you an example.
Let's
in Google
see an
Photos.
example.
We launched Google Photos almost 9 years ago. Since then, people have used it to organize their most important memories.
And it's
Today,
almost as good as
that
Picasa
amounts to
today.
more than 6 billion photos and videos
Hey.
uploaded every single day. And people love using photos to search across their life. With Gemini, you're making that a whole lot easier. Say you're at a parking station ready to pay, but you can't recall your license plate number. Before, you could search photos for keywords, and then scroll through years' worth of photos looking for the right one. Now, you can simply ask photos. It knows the cars that appear often, it triangulates which one is yours, and just tells you the license plate number.
Okay, I'm trying it right now.
That's where they
it
launched?
Did. It did. It gave me my license plate numbers.
And past photos can also help you search your memories in a deeper way.
That was awesome.
For example, you might be reminiscing about your daughter Lucia's early milestones. You can ask photos, when did Lucia learn to swim?
When did?
You can even follow up with something more complex.
I don't know who Lucia is, but
Show me
let me ask
how
about my
Lucia's
daughter.
swimming has progressed. Here,
That's
Gemini
cool.
goes beyond a simple search.
So you can now
recognizing
query the
different
photos.
contexts, from doing
I've always
laps in
used the
pool,
tagging, you know,
to
the
snorkeling in the ocean, to the text and dates on
no,
our swimming
doesn't know when my
certificates,
daughter learned to swim.
and
Let's see.
photos packages it up all together in a summary.
I mean, this really is the promise
really
of
take it all
natural
in
language
and relive
and generative
amazing
AI right
memories
here. It's
all
that
over again.
you're really moving from an area
rolling
where
out
we're
Ask
using
Photos
graphical user
this summer
interfaces
with more
to being able to
capabilities to come.
speak with computers and have them understand us as people. And so if we're going to see a day where we're going to have little product updates like this across the board that
Unlocking
sort of have
knowledge across
intuitive
formats
Gen
is
AI
why we built
applications,
Gemini to be multimodal
I think
from
that
the
really
ground up.
looks is a good look
One
for
model
Google.
with all the modalities.
Here's, I asked it, when did my
So
son
not
learn
only
to
does it
skateboard? And
understand
it was able
each
to
type
come up
of
with
input, it finds
I asked Gemini my license plate number, and it scolded me and said, that's confidential information. Look at your license plates, it said.
No!
long
Yes.
context,
You
takes
got to do it in
steps
photos.
further, enabling us to
Oh,
bring
okay.
even more information. Hundreds
Look at
of
your
millions
license
of
plates,
I
you
don't
dummy.
want it to
Hours of
scold
audio.
me.
A full hour of video.
Contest window
10K
sizes
code
becomes very important as
Or
you
if
start
you
to
want,
feed it your content.
Roughly 96 Cheesecake Factory menus.
That's a lot of menus.
For that many menus,
that's a
you
big
need a
menu,
1
by the
million
way.
token context window, now possible with Gemini 1.5
If you can't
Pro.
get it at the Cheesecake Factory,
Developers have been using it in
can't
super
get it.
interesting ways. Let's take a look.
I somehow feel like Sundar's probably never been to the Cheesecake Factory, however. Somebody said, just use it, Sundar.
I remember
They'll
the
get it.
announcement, the 1 million token context window, and my first reaction was, there's no way they were able to achieve this.
I wanted to test its technical skills. So I uploaded a line chart.
So just to recap what you probably already know is
like Tokyo and Berlin
LLMs
and
have
how they vary across
a
the
training
geographic
model
area.
So
and then
I got
tuning
in
on
there
top
and I
of
threw
it.
in
And then you can
the
provide it
Python
with
library
content
that I
to
was really
search.
struggling
That's the token
with. I
window.
just asked it a simple question.
Context. And the larger the better,
nailed
obviously.
it.
If you want to give it all of your
It could
books, Jeff, you'd need a
Find
big
specific
context window.
references to comments in the code and specific requests that people had made and other issues that people had had, but then suggest a fix for it that related to what I was working on?
I immediately tried to kind of crash it. So I took 4 or 5 research papers I had on my desktop.
This is why we love geeks.
It's a mind-blowing experience when you add so much text and then you see the kind of amount of tokens you add is not even at half the capacity.
I just put 300 pages into Notebook LM and it went fine.
Peppered
Yeah,
up to the top
that's
of your
good.
feed about like, oh wow,
I
built
happen to
this
think
thing.
that this is some of the
Or,
most
oh,
useful
it's doing
functionality
this.
that we
I
have
never
we can use with generative AI. Leo, I don't know if you've done this, or Jeff, I don't know if you've done this, but I'll often take podcast transcripts from Big Technology Podcast and just dump them into Claude. I like using Claude. And then we talk about the interviews.
Yeah.
We say, all right, I say graded on a bunch of different margins.
Oh, that's great.
You know, there have been times where I just did this one. I had Dwarkesh Patel on. He's a podcaster. I took 5 of his interviews and I dumped it into Claude. And these are long, hour to 3 hour long interviews. And I was able to handle all this stuff. And then I was like, tell me, is Dwarkesh an effective altruist? And Claude
had like a superpower
took
in my
a
hands.
took a guess.
It was
And was
We
it
talked
right?
about it. It was very interesting.
So happy. This is going to be
I don't know 100% if it was right, but it certainly sparked an interesting
No
conversation
kidding.
with Dwarkesh.
Yeah.
And so I think that this stuff, as people start to realize that you can dump so much information in these bots and talk with them about it, it's big. And the fact that I think what Google said, they have a million context window, million token context window.
Yeah.
And that is huge and that is impressive.
I think they are probably the
Rolling out
largest. I think
Gemini
that
1.5
exceeds
Pro with
anybody
long
else.
context in preview over the
Yes.
last few months. We made a series of quality improvements
This
across
is
translation,
Oh,
going to
coding,
affect
and
credibility when you put in your own
see
data.
these updates
Yeah,
reflected in the model
absolutely.
starting
And I think a big use
I'm
for this is
excited to
putting in
announce
your own
that we are
data.
bringing
you
this
know?
improved version of
And it also
Gemini
hallucinates
1.5
less
Pro
when it's like working
Exactly.
off of your
all
own
developed
That's what I'm
document.
saying, yep.
globally.
And in fact, on my custom GPTs, I always say, please only use the corpus of data that I've provided for
In
your answers.
addition, today, Gemini 1.5 Pro with 1 million context
Although I have to
now
say,
directly available for consumers
Gemini
in
Advanced
Gemini Advanced and can be used across
without any
35
training,
languages.
has done some very good work.
1 million tokens is opening
at least
up
in coding.
entirely new possibilities. It's exciting, but
This
I think
was also
we can
something
push ourselves
ChatGPT
even further.
4.0 mentioned, was
today,
these many, many languages.
we are expanding the context window to 2 million tokens.
2 million tokens. I don't think anybody can do that.
That is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tweet.
We are making it available for developers in private preview. It's amazing to look back and see.
Is that
how
virtually
much
synonymous
progress
with
we have made in
RAG?
a few months.
Not
This
necessarily,
represents the next step on our
but
journey towards the ultimate goal
RAG,
of
which is
functionally,
which is augmented generation
Okay,
using
so
your own
far we've
content.
talked about 2 technical advances.
So I asked ChatGPT 4. It said my token window
and
can
long
process 8,192
powerful on its
tokens
own,
in a
but
single
together,
interaction.
they
A little
unlock
less than
deeper
2 million.
capabilities and more intelligence. Let's see how this comes to life with Google Workspace.
Besides the RAG, it
always
also
searching their
includes
emails
what
in
you
Gmail.
type
We are working
and its
to make it
response,
much more powerful with Gemini.
context you provide
Let's
in the
look at
prompt.
how. As a
So it's
parent, you want to know
not solely
everything
limited
that's
to
going on with your
your
child's
books
school.
or whatever.
Okay, maybe not everything, but you want to stay informed.
Yeah, this is a
Gemini
good use,
can
of
help
course,
you
is
keep up.
your Gmail.
Now we can ask Gemini to summarize all recent emails from the school. In the background, it's identifying relevant emails, even analyzing attachments like
Of course,
PDFs.
I can't get that because of my damn.
You're on Workspace.
So helpful. Maybe you were traveling this week and you couldn't make the PTA meeting. The recording of the meeting is an hour long. If it's from Google Meet, you can ask Gemini to give you the highlights.
So my
This
wife and I
replaces
were
local
talking-
journalism,
There's a
folks.
parents group
Yeah.
looking for volunteers. You're free that day.
My wife and I were talking
Of
this week
course,
about
Gemini can draft a
how
reply.
much easier it is
Countless
going
other
to be to
examples
raise
of how
kids
this
with
can make
AI.
life easier.
And you see that some
Gemini
of these things like
1.5
the
Pro
meetings that
is
you have to
available
attend,
today in
the
Workspace
PTA
apps.
meetings, that's going to be summarized by Gemini.
Half an hour,
And then
share more
tutoring, if
later
you're
on.
willing, will be handed over to things like we saw yesterday from OpenAI with ChatGPT 4.0. It's pretty incredible. And
We just
I
looked
think
at an
that
example with
we talk a lot about what this will do to
But
jobs,
multimodal
right? Make
model
room
can
for
do
more
so much
creativity
more.
time and less drudgery
show
work.
you an early
But for
demo
parenting,
of
this
an
will make
audio
room for more
output
time
in
to actually
Notebook LM.
spend time with your
Here's
kids,
Josh.
as opposed to having to sit and watch that hour-long PTA meeting. I think this is one of the more underrated benefits of generative
Absolutely.
AI.
I've been telling news organizations that they should be doing that, but now Google can do it
Last
instead.
year at I/O, we introduced Notebook LM,
Yeah.
a research and writing tool grounded in the information you give it. Since then,
So maybe
we've
this
seen
is
a
an
lot
extra
of
reporter
momentum
for these
with
news
students and
organizations, these
teachers
local news
using it.
organizations. Jeff,
And
what do you
today,
think?
Gemini 1.5 Pro
They're always
is coming
behind.
to Notebook LM.
They're always
and it's
whiny
great.
in the U.S.
Let me show you.
Shipstead and Norway is
So here
ahead,
we
but
are in
not here.
Notebook LM.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see what
I
this
remember.
is.
All the
When I worked in ad
materials
tech,
here on the
Shipstead
left.
was definitely seen
In
as
this
one of the
notebook,
early
I've
adopters
been using
of
it with
tech.
my
Still
younger
are.
son,
Embracers.
and I've added some of
Cool.
his science worksheets, a few slide decks from his teacher, and even an open source textbook full of charts and diagrams. With 1.5 Pro, it instantly creates
Pro?
a notebook guide
Uh-oh.
with a helpful summary and can generate a study
Yeah,
guide,
this has been around
an
for a
FAQ,
while.
or even quizzes. But for my son,
this is
Jimmy,
the 2 million
he really
token
learns
version, which is
best
not
when he
publicly
can
available
listen
yet.
to something.
Oh, I thought it was
So
Notebook
we've
LM Pro.
prototyped
Okay.
a new feature with Gemini, and it's called Audio Overviews.
Ah,
Notebook LM is going to take all the materials on the left as input and output them into a lively science discussion personalized for him.
Sal
Let's
Khan.
take a listen.
So let's dive into physics. What's on deck for today?
Well, we're starting with the basics, force and motion.
Okay.
And that, of course, means we have to talk about Sir Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion.
Ah, yes, the foundation for understanding how objects move.
Who's the
and
human?
interact.
Ah, yes.
I don't-
This is where
I don't think there is
my
one.
will really shines.
It's having its own dialogue.
It was
Now,
its
it
own
generated this audio
Socratic dialogue.
discussion based on that text material. And what's amazing is that my son and I can join into the conversation and steer it whichever direction we want. When I tap join.
Hold on,
There
where's
you
the
go.
question? What's up, Josh?
Yeah, can you give my son Jimmy
Talk
a
show host.
basketball example?
Hey, Jimmy. That's a fantastic idea. Basketball is actually a great way to visualize force and motion. Let's break it down.
Okay, so first, imagine a basketball
So you
just
got two
sitting there
teachers.
on the court. It's not moving, right? That's because all the forces acting on it are balanced. The downward
Last night on
graph.
Twitter,
Pretty cool, right?
OpenAI showed a use of Chat GPT-O as a tutor, geometry tutor. It was quite impressive.
I gotta say, the first
This is
time my
definitely one
son
of the
heard
themes
this,
that's
you should've
emerging for the
seen how
week is
big
that
his
these
eyes
companies are
got.
going to try to sell
Because
these
he was
products to the
gripped.
public
They were
as
talking to
effectively
him,
personalized
he was
tutors
learning
for
science
kids.
through the
And
example of
honestly, it's a pretty good pitch.
favorite sport.
I think if you're thinking about
Now,
any
what's
different
interesting is
type
under
of
the hood,
application here,
you saw that Gemini had
having
used some of the
these
concepts,
things be able
gravity,
to effectively
size of Newton,
replace
but nothing in
or
there was about basketball.
sort of
connected
spin
the
up from
dots
nothing
and created that
what would be a
age-appropriate
$150 an hour tutor personalized
And
for
this
children is a
what's
very, very
becoming
good value
possible
proposition.
With the power of Gemini, you can give it lots of information in any format, and it can be
I've been
transformed
using
in a way
Gemini
that's
Advanced right now to
interactive for
search
you.
my Gmail. It's actually
Back
done
to
a
you,
pretty good
Sundar.
job. I just asked it to analyze my email for any upcoming deliveries, for meetings, so forth. It's done a fairly good job.
Thanks, George.
Especially given that
The
my
demo shows the
Gmail
real
account is almost
opportunity with
entirely spam.
multimodality. Soon you'll be able to mix and match inputs and outputs. This is what we mean when we say it's an I/O for a new generation. And I can see you all out there thinking about the possibilities. But what if we could go even further?
Remember, this
That's
is a
one of the
developer conference, so the
opportunities we see
pitch,
with AI agents.
even though they know that
Let me
we're
take a step
watching,
back and explain
is
what I mean by that.
to developers to use
I
these
think
tools.
about them as intelligent systems that
Oh,
show
agent.
reasoning,
Agentic.
planning, and memory, are able to think multiple steps ahead, work across software and systems, all to get something done on your behalf, and most importantly, under your
Now,
supervision.
remember, it's been about
We are
5
still
years
in the early days,
since they
and you'll see
showed the
glimpses
ability
of
to
our
book
approach throughout the
reservations
day.
using Google.
But let me show you the
I forgot what they
kinds of
called
use
it. Dexter?
cases
They
we
had
are
a name
working
for
hard
it.
to solve.
Wasn't it Duo?
Let's start with
Duo
shopping.
was answering your calls.
Pretty fun to shop for shoes, and a lot less fun to return them when they don't fit. Imagine if Gemini could do all the steps for you.
Duplex?
Searching your inbox
Duplex,
for
that's
the
it,
receipt,
yes.
locating the order number from your email, filling out a return form, and even scheduling a pickup. That's
This is
much easier, right?
What I was talking about when I said that Google I/O is often long on promises but short on actual deliveries. And
Let's take
Duplex
another example
sat
that's
around
a
for
bit more
quite a
complex.
while.
Say you just moved
Well, there's
to
also
Chicago.
some sort of discomfort with, I
imagine
think it was
Gemini
early,
and
there was
Chrome
discomfort
working
with
together
AI mimicking
to help
being a
you do a
human and
number of
speaking to
things
small
to get
business
ready.
owners and kind of tricking them into making
Organizing,
reservations.
synthesizing on your behalf.
But I think that
For
the
example,
paradigm has
you would want
shifted,
to explore
right?
the
Like
city.
right now,
Oh, yes, I
we're
agree.
living in a very different world
dry
from
cleaners
where we were
to
back
dog
then. And I think society has caught up.
It's a good point.
Vision for Google.
It's a good point.
My hair salon gets duplex calls now.
And will prompt
Really?
you for more information
Yeah,
when
yeah.
needed, so you're always in control. That part is
What's their
really
reaction to
important
that?
as we
They just tell
prototype
you
these
about it?
experiences.
Laugh?
Yeah.
We're thinking hard about
Hey, guess
how
what
to do
called?
it in a way that's private, secure,
Wow.
and works for everyone. These are simple use cases, but they give you a good sense of the types of problems you want to
DoorDash.
solve by building intelligent systems that think ahead, reason, and plan all on your behalf.
So this is how
Power of
AI ends up
Gemini
killing all of
with
us, right?
multimodality,
This
long
is just the
context,
beginning, right? We're going to
and
look back at
agents
this announcement as
brings us closer
this was
to
the
our
moment
ultimate
where
goal,
humanity turned it over to
making
machines.
AI
I'm sorry, Leo.
helpful
You've
for
had
everyone.
way too many donuts this
We
year.
see this as
I'm
how
not
we
going to
make
deliver
most
those
progress
Dunkins.
against our mission. Organizing the world's information across every input, making it accessible via any output,
And of course, at the same time as
combining
the
world's
U.S. and China are
information
making
with the information in your world
treaties to
in a
not
way
use
that's
this
truly
to
useful
steer
for you.
nuclear weapons,
To fully
both
realize the
countries
benefits of
are
AI,
working hard to
we'll
develop
continue to
autonomous
break new ground.
cruise missiles and
Google
so forth.
Deepmind is hard at work.
I have a feeling it
To
won't be
share
long.
more, please welcome for the first time on the I/O
Dennis
stage,
Hasibi.
Here's Demis.
Sir Demis.
Sir, did he say
So, by
Sir
the way-
Dennis? Did he get knighted?
Yeah, he's been knighted.
Nice.
He was knighted a couple months ago, actually.
Sir Dennis.
By the way, Google's like mission statement to organize the world's information and make it more
Thanks,
accessible
Sundar.
and useful.
It's so great to be
along
here.
those lines just feels really
Ever
outdated
since I was
at
a
this
kid,
point.
playing
Yeah, way
chess for the
different things than
England
that.
It's a search engine. We don't
I've
need
been
that
thinking
anymore.
about
We
the
need a
nature of intelligence.
search agent.
I was captivated
Right.
by the idea of a computer that could think like a person. It's ultimately why I became a programmer and studied neuroscience. I co-founded Deepmind in 2010 with the goal of one day building AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, a system that has human-level cognitive capabilities. I've always believed that if we could build
He's
this
a true
technology
believer.
responsibly, impact would be truly profound.
If you go to demihasibi.com, it takes you to Google I/O's page.
Last year, we reached a milestone on that path when we formed Google Deepmind.
Oh, I see. It's Deepmind.
Combining AI
Tune in
talent
for
from
Google
across
I/O.
the company into one super unit. Since
Deepmind's
then,
had great
we built
success,
AI
beating
systems
chess,
that can do an amazing range of
Masters,
things.
beating Go Masters.
From learning language,
Yeah.
vision,
AlphaFold.
into action for robots,
AlphaFold.
navigating complex
protein
virtual 3D
folding.
environments, solving Olympiad-level
It's the Bell
math
Labs of the day.
and even discovering thousands of new materials.
I mean, an interesting point
Just
that's
last
worth
week,
bringing up
we
is
announced our next
Demis
generation AlphaFold
sort
model.
of bet the farm
predict the
on
structure and
this
interactions of
form
nearly
of machine
all
learning
of
called
life's molecules,
reinforcement
including how
learning.
proteins
And
interact with strands
from my
of DNA
reporting, I heard that in DeepMind, the stuff
will
that ended
accelerate
up going
vitally
in to
important
build large
biological
language
and medical
models
research,
called self-supervised
disease
learning was kind of looked at as a backwater and something that he or
And
the
all of
people
this
inside
was
there
made
did not want to
possible with the
touch.
best infrastructure
And so
for
that's
the
why
AI
they've been
era,
kind of late
including our
in terms
highly
of the groundbreaking stuff on the LLM side. But they finally realized that this stuff is important.
At the center
And
of
now
our
what
efforts
Demis
is our
believes
Gemini model.
is that I spoke with him a few
built
months
up
ago.
from the ground
What he
up
believes
to
is
be
that
natively multimodal,
the
because that's
the
how
path
we
of AI is going to
interpret
turn
and
around
understand
back
the
towards
world around us.
reinforcement learning, which
We've built a
is
variety
more
of
like
models for
goal
different use
oriented
cases.
and
We've seen
helps
how
you like
powerful
accomplish
Gemini
missions. And
1.5
that will
Pro
be
is.
the stuff
But
that
we also
powers
know
the agents
from
that
user
we'll see.
feedback
So that
some
on top of
applications
the
need
self-supervised
lower
large language
latency and a
models.
lower cost to
I'm
serve.
very eager to see what he does.
So today,
It makes sense because you need that kind of credibility
1.5 Flash.
to make us trust agents to put them off on tasks.
Hold on a second.
Absolutely.
Oh, what's this?
Yeah, let's listen.
He's brought Flashback.
Flash is a lighter weight model compared to Pro. It's designed to be fast and cost efficient to serve at scale, while still featuring multimodal reasoning capabilities and breakthrough long context. Flash is optimized for tasks where low latency and efficiency matter most. Starting today, you can use 1.5 Flash and 1.5 Pro with up to 1
Is it really
million
reasoning?
Google AI Studio and Vertex AI. And developers can sign up to try 2 million tokens. We're so excited to see what all of you will create with it. And you'll hear a little more about Flash later on from Josh. We're very excited by the progress we've made so far with our family of Gemini models, but we're always striving to push the state of the art even further. At any one time, we have many different models in training, and we use our very large and powerful ones to help teach and train our production-ready models.
Oh, dear.
Together with user feedback, this cutting-edge research will help us to build amazing new products for billions of people.
This is where we've gotten to.
For
LLMs
example,
have maybe
in
reached the
December,
end of the
we shared a
line.
glimpse into the future of how
Certainly
people
running out
would
of content
interact
to
with
ingest.
multimodal AI.
And most,
And
it
this would-
seems to
how
be
this
most
would end
AI
up
experts are
powering a
saying
new
we've got
set
to
of
look at other
transformative
methods
experiences.
to get to the next
Today,
level.
we have some exciting new progress to share about the future
Including
of AI,
AI,
systems
teaching AI.
that we're calling Project Astra.
Flash is,
For a long
by the
time,
way,
we've
cost
wanted to build
efficient
a
also, which
universal
is,
AI agent that can
I
be
think,
truly
important.
helpful in everyday life.
I mean, AI
Our
computing
work
got
making
way
this vision
cheaper
a
this week
reality
with
goes back
Flash
many years.
and with
It's
this
why we made Gemini
OpenAI
multimodal from the very
GPT
beginning.
4.0, which is about
An
half
agent
price
like
of
this has to
GPT-4.
understand and respond
it's
to our
half price for us,
complex
but I
and
wonder how
dynamic
much
world, just
less
like
it is
we
for
do.
them.
It would need to take in and remember what it sees.
Sam
That is a
Altman,
great question.
Sam
Leo.
Altman has said it's going to take trillions of dollars
And it
to
would
get
have
to where
be
we want to go.
proactive, teachable,
This is part of the
and
reason
personal.
why.
So you can talk to it naturally without lag or delay.
I think
While
that's
we've
a
made some great
big
strides in
frontier for
developing
AI
systems
right now,
that can
especially the
understand
chats,
multimodal information,
the ones you
getting
talk to.
response
They've
time
got to
down
respond
something
quickly.
conversational is a difficult engineering challenge.
When you're talking to it and you're waiting,
Building
it
on
just
our
doesn't
Gemini
feel
model,
natural.
we've developed agents.
Well, in the case of OpenAI, I got to respond at all.
Yeah,
by
or
continuously
as today.
encoding video frames, combining the video and speech input into a timeline of events, and caching this for efficient recall. We've also enhanced how they sound with a wider range of intonations. These agents better understand the context you're in and can respond quickly in conversation, making the pace and quality of interaction feel much more natural. Here's a video of our prototype, which will see
According to
has
our
two
Discord,
parts.
the Google
Each
stock has
part
started to
was
spike
captured in a
already.
single take in real time.
The market responding very quickly to
Okay.
what they're hearing.
Let's do some tests. Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
I think that might be on the 2 million
What
token
is
thing.
that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high
This is
frequency
something Google's
sounds.
been doing on its
Circle
pixels,
search.
the circle search. Yeah.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
It's the whole antecedent problem.
Cheerfully.
I gotta hear
They certainly craft colorful creations.
That's hysterical.
Give me something colorful about that
What
guy.
does that part of the code do?
This code defines
That's very
encryption
fast.
and decryption functions.
Very fast.
It seems to use
Let's see if it works, though,
encryption
right?
to
I'm not going to be
encode
fooled
and
2 days in a
decode
row
data
on this
based on a
stuff.
key and an initialization vector, IV.
This is pretty impressive. So the whole multimodal AI thing is very
neighborhood do you
important too.
think
You're going to
I'm
hear
in?
that word a lot. The idea that it could take inputs from video,
This
from
appears to
pictures,
be
from
the
your
King's
voice,
Cross area of London.
and
It is
combine
known for its railway
and it
stations
understands
and
antecedents.
transportation connections.
Yeah.
What you're referring to.
Yeah,
Do you
OpenAI
remember where
also
you
talks
saw my
about memory.
glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were
Is
on the desk near
antecedent
Red
a
Apple.
word?
Oh, that's really interesting. Did you see that?
That's cool.
It remembered
Yeah.
the entire video and found her glasses. That's really interesting. That's memory in another way.
Doesn't this technology just not get interesting until it's baked
can
into
I add
smart
here
glasses?
to make this
Because
system faster?
I
And it
always
will be
find
soon,
these.
I think.
It will, and I find and Google will
Adding the
definitely build
cache
glasses
between the
again,
server and database
which will be an
could
interesting
improve
thing to
speed.
cover. But I always find these demos to be so impressive.
What does this
And
remind
then I'm
you
like, I never find myself with my phone taking it out and wanting to video a room to speak to the AI in it. Just never.
Now, I
happens.
have to say, this looks an awful lot like the
give
faked
me
video
a
that they did
banner
last
name
year.
for this duo.
That fooled the hell out of me.
Golden stripes.
But I think doing it in
Nice.
real time,
Thanks,
if
Gemini.
they haven't faked it, God, I hope they haven't. They've kind of muddied the water by faking it prior to this.
Yeah.
God, I hope they haven't faked it as a certainly a good tagline for any developer event.
Yeah,
I
including
agree.
yesterday.
It's amazing to see how far AI has come, especially when it comes to spatial understanding,
And also,
video
as
processing, and memory.
as Joe in the Discord points
It's
out,
easy to envisage a future where you can have an expert assistant by your
we've
side.
gotten used to the
through your
idea of
phone
AIs
or
and
new
talking to AIs,
exciting
but now
form
we're going to have to
factors
really
like glasses.
question privacy issues.
Some of these agent
Because
capabilities will
what
come
you
to
just
Google
saw
products
is
like
a
Gemini
huge
App
invasion of
later this
privacy in
year.
everybody in that room.
For those of you on site
Oh,
today,
calm down.
But well, I think we're going to have to get used to that. And I think maybe, Alex, you're right.
Yeah.
We are going to get used to it. We get used to these
We are.
things.
Because the payoff is great.
Yeah. According to TechCrunch,
let's take a look at
GPT-4o
how our
includes Be
innovations
My
are helping
Eyes,
people bring new
which is
creative
a
ideas
very
to
great
life.
accessibility feature where
Today
you
we're
can look at
introducing
something
a
and
series
it
of
will tell you what
updates
it
across
is.
our generative media tools
Very useful for blind
with
people.
new models covering image, music, and video. Over the past year,
MacBreak Weekly will be scheduled for tomorrow. This is going to be This Week in Google.
To help tell this story,
and
here's Doug.
768. And so we're flip-flopping MacBreak Weekly and This Week in Google. MacBreak Weekly will be tomorrow. We will have the new iPad to talk about. Now, Doug X.
Leo got that wrong. This is the changelog.
An entire Twig changelog.
Over the past
For
few
once.
months, we've been working hard to build a new image generation model from the ground up. With stronger evaluations, extensive red teaming, and state-of-the-art watermarking with SynthID.
And black people founding the nation.
Today, I'm so excited to introduce Imajen 3.
I think there's a reason
It's our most capable image generation model.
companies gravitate to this.
Imajen 3 is
Hallucinations
more photorealistic,
are less of a problem.
literally
If
count
you
the
give
whispers
somebody
on
6
couch.
fingers, big deal.
with richer details, like this incredible sunlight in the shot.
And people
And
like
fewer
this.
visual
I don't know how
artifacts or
important this
distorted
is
images.
in the long run.
It understands
And in
prompts
fact,
written
it's
the way
threatening to
people write.
artists
The more creative and detailed
musicians.
you are, the better. And
Did you
Imajen
see
3
that
remembers to
the
incorporate
Guild
small
of Set
details,
Designers
like the
just called
wildflowers
off their
or
training?
small
There's not
blue
enough
bird
jobs to
just on the
justify
prompt.
doing the training.
That's sad.
Plus, this is our best model yet
That's
for
because
All I
rendered
have to
text,
say on this
which has
point
been a
is
challenge for image
just wait,
generation.
guys.
What
Because
do you mean?
Side-by-side comparisons,
Something's coming up that
independent
you're gonna-
evaluators
Oh, you
prefer
already know
definitely
something,
spark this
huh?
discussion into
popular
overdrive.
image generation models. In sum, Imajen 3 is our highest quality image generation model so far.
Honestly, think companies should
You can sign up
abandon
today
this
to try Imajen 3
line of
in
work.
Image FX, part of our suite of AI tools at labs.google.
It's not something anybody
that are
needs
becoming soon to
particularly,
developers
and
and
it just
enterprise customers in
raises
Vertex
people's
AI.
hackles.
Another
Both
area
due to
full of
copyright
creative
and
possibility is generative
loss of
music.
jobs.
It enables anybody to
I've been
tell
working
their
in this
stories,
space
illustrate
for
their
over
stories. I
20
think there's
years.
huge power to
This
be
is
had
by
here.
far the most exciting year of my
It's a
career.
tool. As long as we see it
We're
as a
exploring
tool,
ways of working with
not a
artists
thief.
to expand their creativity with AI.
And if this art is everywhere, the people who are professionals in this world will actually command a premium because it's going to be harder to stand out. And if you're able to do this better than the AIs, and there will be people that can,
to help us design and test them,
you're going to really be in demand.
Incredible musicians, songwriters, and
The Guardian's new motto is humans for humans.
New songs in ways that would have not been possible without these tools.
Yeah, I mean,
they're missing the biggest growing market.
Let's hear from
as a
some of the
human, I
artists.
embrace that.
Yeah.
I think music's another area where you can expect AI to become quite good.
Music AI tool.
It's already amazing.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried Suno before?
Yeah, we love it.
Haiti meets Brazil.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, I have no clue
make up songs.
what's about to be spread out. This is what excites me.
So it took his simple guitar line and Brazilianized it.
As a hip hop producer, we dug in the crates. We playing these vinyls, and the part where there's no vocal, we
sample
pull it,
yourself.
We sample it, and we create an entire song around that. So right now, we digging in the infinite crate. It's endless.
Where I found the AI really useful for me, this way to
was the guy with the
throw
DJ.
in the sparser sort of elements of
He was
my
the
loops.
DJ at the start.
Okay, let's try bongos. We're gonna put viola. We're gonna put rhythmic clapping, and we're gonna see what happens there. And
I
it
wonder
makes
what
it
Benito
sound,
thinks about all this.
ironically,
I hate it all.
at the end of the day, a little more human.
Our resident musician.
It's predictable. Yeah.
Right here.
He's over there growling.
You know, when drum machines came out, people got very excited about it, and then they realized that they were rhythmically precise and made them monotonous.
And then you're like,
they had no swing.
Okay, yeah, no, that's pretty dope.
But I think you can build in swing.
You can build in swing. It's groove they don't have.
They don't have groove. Okay, now there's.
Speeding up the process.
That's because machines don't dance yet.
You're able to move light speed
Just
with your
wait.
creativity. This is amazing. That right there?
Yeah, I mean,
Alex, I
I'm fine with
expect you to
this.
say to us, this is it when we come to it.
I'm fine with this as an expressive tool for humans to. And I've always said this: AI is
I
best
think
when
this
it
really
works in
shows what's
partnership with a
possible
human.
when we work with the artist community
but again,
on the future of music.
I feel like
You can find some brand new songs from these acclaimed artists and songwriters.
because
on their
this is such a
YouTube channels
thorny
now.
area with regard to copyright and jobs,
There's
it
one more
would be
area I'm
wise
really
to stay out
excited
of
to
it.
share
Google's
with you.
never done that, of
Our
course.
teams have made some incredible progress.
Time to
with
tune in.
generative video.
This one's going to be nuts.
Today,
Oh, okay.
I'm excited to announce our newest, most capable generative video model called VEO.
VEO, V-E-O.
This is it, Alex?
Alex knows all
VEO
about
creates
this.
high-quality 1080p videos from text, image, and video prompts. It can capture the details of your instructions in different visual and cinematic styles.
So interesting how everybody's
Prompt
working
for
in the
things
same
like aerial shots of a
rough
landscape
fields.
or time lapse, and further edit your videos using
OpenAI,
additional
of course,
prompts.
has its video generator.
You can use VEO
It's all
in
about
our new
expressing to
experimental
humans.
tool called Video FX. We're exploring features
This'll
like
be compared to
storyboarding
Sora.
and generating longer scenes.
Whoa.
VEO gives you unprecedented
See that extend button?
Outfill. So now they're doing outfill in video.
Techniques for generating
crazy.
static images have come a long way, but generating
All right.
video is
That's
a
pretty
different
good.
challenge altogether. Not only is it important to understand where an object or subject should be in space, it needs to maintain this consistency over time, just like the car in this video.
I mean, we
VEO
were very
builds
excited about
upon
Sora
years
when it
of
came
our
out 2 months
pioneering
ago.
generative video model work,
I guess
including
February was that.
GQN, Finaki, Walt, Video
3 months
Poet,
ago.
Lumiere, and much more.
I mean, the idea
combine the
that
best
AI
of
is
these
able to
architectural
generate such
techniques
high quality
to
video and keep like the
consistency,
cars, for
quality,
instance,
and
driving on the road.
Yeah.
People smarter
see
than me
what
can get
VEO
into
can
the
do,
physics of that
put
and
it
the
in the
programming,
hands
but
of an
that's
amazing
insane.
filmmaker.
Like that it
Yeah.
knows that a
Let's take a
car has to drive on the road and that the buildings stay upright and don't wobble.
Well,
Alex, you're exactly right. That's the key, is understanding how the world works.
have you played
She
with
isn't yet.
this or have just read about it, Alex? Have you actually
I just
tried
read about it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet.
I think the
I'd like
devil's in
to.
it. I'd love to see, people using
Core
it.
technology is.
But I think
Demos
that what
always
you're
look
seeing
good.
here already is that, I mean, they had Donald Glover on the screen. Like, you're starting to see that Hollywood is going to buy into this, and that's really what matters.
Right.
We are able to bring ideas to life
that's
that
impressive.
were otherwise
That's a
not
text prompt
possible. We can
brought to life.
visualize things on a time scale that's 10 or 100 times faster than before.
When you're shooting, you can't really iterate
Unedited
as much
raw
as you wish.
output.
And so we've been hearing
So they are aware of
that
this
allows for,
issue.
like, more functionality.
But they've only labeled this.
Yeah, but notice they didn't say that the last time.
It's like you can make a mistake faster. That's all you really want at the end of the day.
But it will probably, for at least the next little while, be some version of like you're going to create stuff and then you're going to edit it in post.
VO is able to better capture the nuance from prompts.
And I wonder if Donald Glover is thinking about it in long form, or he wants to use it for his music videos. You know, it'd be great for music videos, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
At the heart of all of
because they're also, you know, kind of. I mean,
to being able to
they're kind of hallucinatory anyway. Often,
the more we'll understand each other.
These models are really enabling us to be more creative and to share that creativity with each other.
Looks like it's a party at Donald's house.
Yeah, they only have one laptop. Jeez, you know.
get some more laptops.
Over the coming weeks, some of these features will be available to select creators through video effects at labs.google, and the wait list is open now. Of course, these advances in generative video go beyond the beautiful visuals you've seen today. By teaching future AI models how to solve problems creatively, or in effect simulate the physics of our world, we can build more useful systems that can help people communicate in new ways, and thereby advance the frontiers of AI. When we first began this journey to build AI more than 15 years ago, we knew that one day it would change everything. Now that time is here.
So he pronounces it
Demis. We continue to be
Demis.
amazed by the progress we see and
Demis.
inspired by the
Demis.
advances still to
Okay.
come
And Hasibis
on the
or
path to
Hasibi?
AGI. Thanks. And back to you, Sundar.
Wrong on all counts, Leo.
Since you've talked to him, I want to get the actual. So I'll from now on call him Demis Hamasahmasis.
Thanks, Demis. A
Demis
huge amount of innovation is happening at Google
Abbasis.
Deepmind.
I have to say,
It's amazing how much progress
they
we've
have
made.
been all AI from the beginning. We haven't heard anything about maps or anything
Or
like
Android.
that.
Or
I think it's been an impressive presentation so far. I mean, it's faster, cheaper, a cheaper model, all this generation, and I don't know. I think this has been good so far.
Google was built for this.
Integration into some products.
But it also reflects how much they feel under fire. I mean,
without a doubt,
they are a search ad company. Is their money?
Well, Leo, that's a great point because that's sort of underneath every single announcement. You could ask, okay, well, how are you going to make money from this?
Exactly.
And there's some questions there. I mean, maybe they're going to end up making more money on cloud. Like Google Cloud is actually advancing now after being stagnant for so long. But cloud is not going to replace Google search.
So TPUs are something. Yes, TPUs are something Google's been early on with, and Trillium's their newest. 4.7 times faster.
Over the previous generation. So our
This is for cloud.
They've got to reduce the compute power. I mean, reduce the consumption,
the cost,
and increase the power. Yeah, the cost.
Alongside our TPUs, we are proud to
Environmental
offer
cost.
TPUs and GPUs to support any workload. That includes the new Axion processors we announced last month, our first custom ARM-based CPU with industry-leading performance and energy efficiency.
Wait for the applause.
We're also proud to be one of the first cloud providers to offer NVIDIA's cutting-edge Blackwell GPUs available in early 2025.
Those are the $30,000 a piece GPUs offered by NVIDIA.
We are fortunate to have a long-standing partnership with NVIDIA, excited to bring Blackwell's capabilities to our customers.
Everybody wants to
Chips are a foundation
cozy up to
part of our
NVIDIA.
integrated end-to-end system. From performance-optimized hardware and open software to flexible consumption models, this all comes together in our AI hypercomputer, a groundbreaking supercomputer architecture. Businesses and developers are using it to tackle more complex challenges with more than twice the
This reminds me
efficiency
so much of the early
relative to
days
just
of
buying the
computing,
raw
or
hardware.
mostly of the internet, where people were
Our
willing to
AI
spend billions of
hypercomputer
dollars up
advancements are
front
made
to
possible
build a customer
in
base.
part because of our approach to liquid cooling
and just,
in our data centers.
with no
We've
revenue
been doing
at
this for
first.
nearly a decade, long before it became state-of-the-art for the industry. And today, our total deployed fleet capacity for liquid cooling systems is nearly 1 gigawatt and growing. That's close to 70 times the capacity of any other fleet.
That's a nuclear power plant level of energy.
Underlying this is the sheer scale of our network. which connects our infrastructure globally. Our network spans more than 2 million miles
This is
of
unsung.
subsea fiber, over 10 times the reach of the next leading cloud provider. We'll keep making the investments necessary to advance AI innovation and deliver state-of-the-art capabilities. And one of our greatest areas of investment and innovation is in our founding product, Search. 25 years ago, we created Search to help people make sense of the waves of information moving online. With each
Now I'm going to watch the
platform
stock chart.
we have delivered breakthroughs to help answer
And it's coming back down.
On mobile, we unlocked new types of questions and answers using better context, location awareness, and real-time information. With advances in natural language understanding and computer vision, we enable new ways to search with your voice, or a hum to find your new favorite song, or an image of that flower you saw on your walk. Now you can even circle to search those cool new shoes you might want to buy. Go for it. You can always return them later. Of course, search in the Gemini era will take this to a whole new level. Combining our infrastructure strengths, the latest AI capabilities, our high bar for information quality, our decades of experience connecting you to the richness of the web, the result is a product that does the work for you. Google Search is generative AI at the scale of human curiosity, and it's our most exciting chapter of Search yet. To tell you more, here's Liz.
That's the positioning.
So this is their new head of search.
Thanks, Sundar. With each of these platform shifts, we haven't just adapted. We've expanded what's possible with Google Search. And now, with generative AI, Search will do more for you than you ever imagined. So whatever's on your mind, and whatever you need to get done,
She's got a tough job.
just ask. And Google will do the Googling.
Especially after Search has been accused of being ruined.
All the advancements you'll see today are made possible by a new Gemini model, customized for Google Search. What really sets this apart is
It does
our
make
three
sense to
unique
put
strengths.
AI into the search.
First,
Everybody else has done
our
so.
real-time information with over
It's always
1
been
trillion
there.
facts about people, places, and things. Second, our unparalleled ranking and quality systems, trusted for decades to get you the very best of the web.
I guess it depends
And
how you
third,
define AI. I
the
don't think it's
power of
always been
Gemini,
there. I mean,
which
page
Well,
ranks
AI
is
has always been there.
capabilities
Generative AI
right
hasn't
in
been
Search.
there.
By
But
bringing these three things all together, we're able to dramatically expand what's possible with Google Search. Yet again, this is Search in the Gemini era. So let's dig in.
I wish they would
You've
stop
heard
saying
today
Gemini
about
era.
AI overview
It's
and
the
how helpful
cringiest
people
branding
are
I've ever
finding
heard in my life.
With
oh, they'll
AI
change it in
overview,
3 months.
Google
Don't worry,
does work
Alex.
for you.
That's something we can
It
hope.
used to be the
Together
Bard
all the
era,
information
so
yourself. You can ask
Yes,
your
that's
questions.
long gone.
And as you see here, you can get an answer instantly, complete with a range of perspectives and links to dive deeper. As Sundar shared, AI overviews will begin rolling out to everyone in the US, starting
it's funny
today.
because
with
this is
more
what Perplexity and Coggy and
And by
Neva
the
used to
end of
do.
the year, AI overviews will come
They're
to
small
over
and
a
get away
billion
with it.
people
If Google
in Google
does
Search.
this is really going to bring
But
a lot
this
of
is
heat
just
to
the
Google
first step.
because this further accelerates
making AI overviews
the problem
more
Google has
helpful
with
for
it,
your
which
most
is giving you the
complex
information without driving you to a
the
website.
types that are really more like 10 questions.
So this
in
is
one.
the biggest announcement that they're
You can
making
ask your
today.
entire
That they're going to take what
with
was
all
Search
its
Generative
subquestions
Experience,
and get
turn
an
it
AI
into something
overview.
called AI Overviews, and then make it available to everybody.
To make
And
this
all those
possible,
big
we're
questions we've been
introducing
asking about
multi-step
Google.
reasoning in Google Search.
Can they
Google
make
can do
money
research
if people are going to be just reading the AI answers? What are they going to do to the web
let's say you've been
if they
trying to
take
get
people
into
who are
UM
searching to
Plus.
navigate to websites and then just
Finding
give
the
them
right
a generative
solution takes a
answer
lot of
right
research.
up front?
There's
That
so
all comes
many
into play
factors
right
you need to
now.
consider.
it's a
This
response
is
to the
amazing
enshittified
deal.
web,
Able to ask Search to
right?
find the
Sorry,
best
Jeff,
The web
what was
overall
that?
bodies
it's
to
it's a
your
response to the enshittified
And
web.
show
The
you
web gets
details on
worse,
their
but Google
offers.
goes
Find
around
the
it
walkthrough
itself.
time from Beacon Hill.
Yes, Google's also had a hand in that in some ways.
Google gets to
Absolutely.
work
It's
for you.
both.
Finding the
And
most
at
relevant
Google scale, this
information
is
and bringing it
potentially
together into an AI
disastrous
overview.
for websites.
You get some studios
Well,
with
yeah,
great
but also
ratings
I'm
and
just
their
curious,
introductory
like what the
offers.
hit is going to be to the
You can
advertising
get a distance
business.
for each.
And it
Like this
seems
one,
like the market
just a 10-minute
believes
walk
that it's
away.
going to be fine
Right below,
because the
you see
stock
where
is
they're
just
located,
kind of hung
laid
there
out
today.
visually.
maybe this was something that was already built in.
From just
But
a single search.
where do the ads show up and where do they make money?
Under the hood, our
don't know.
custom Gemini model acts as your AI agent, using what we call multi-step reasoning. It breaks your bigger question down into all its parts, and it figures out which problems it needs to solve and in what order. And thanks to our real-time info and ranking
It's funny, this is
it
an
reasons
ancient
using
AI
the
technique
highest
called the
quality
general
information
problem
out
solver.
there.
This really
So since you're
predates
asking about places,
all of the new
we have
modern
Google's index
techniques.
of information about the real world, with over 250 million places, and updated in real time, including their ratings, reviews, business hours.
I think they'll find a way to get a little ad revenue out of
Research
that.
that might have taken you minutes or even hours, Google can now do on your behalf.
And
in
sent
just
you to
seconds.
hundreds of web pages where
Next,
Google ads
Let me
live.
show you another way multi-step reasoning in Google search can make your life that much easier. Take planning, for example. Dreaming up trips and meal plans can be fun, but doing the work of actually figuring it all out, no thank you. With Gemini and Search, Google does the planning with you. Planning is really hard for AI to get right.
And of course, we'll sell you the airplane
Type of problem
tickets
that takes
and
advanced
the hotel
reasoning and
rooms.
logic.
I think there's
After all,
options,
if
a
you're
lot
meal
of
planning, you probably don't want mac and cheese for breakfast,
opportunity for
lunch,
revenue in this.
and dinner.
And commerce. If Amazon can go into advertising, Google can go into commerce.
Say you're looking
But if
for a
we're
bit
being
more
honest,
variety.
it's very different from the set it and forget it
Now you
method
can ask
that
her to
existed
create a 3-day
previously.
meal plan
Right?
for
Like
a
this
group
is going to be much more difficult to execute, even if it
Here you get
delivers
a
more
plan
value
with
to
a wide range
advertisers.
of recipes from across the web.
You think more human
This one
intervention?
for overnight oats looks particularly
I was just about to say, does this make Google some, does it turn Google into a service versus a technology? I wouldn't say 100% because some of the service is going to be lived out by artificial intelligence, but
And just like that,
it's
Search
way
customizes
more
your meal
capital
plan.
intensive than it was previously.
That's right. export your
And
meal
by the
plan
way, these
or get the
results
ingredients
cost a
as a
lot of
list,
money to serve compared to
just
the
by
old
tapping
results.
here. Looking ahead, you can imagine asking
Because
Google
of
to add
the
everything
images,
to your
because of the
preferred shopping
back end
Then we're really
intelligence?
These planning
Yeah,
capabilities mean
I mean,
Search will be
okay,
able
so
to
let's say
plan
they
everything
cut
from
down
meals
the
to
amount
trips
that it takes
parties,
to run
dates,
these
workout
computations by half. So it still makes it,
So you can
what,
get
10
all the
times
fun of
more than a
planning
typical
without
search?
any of the hassle.
That's margin right there. I think this is bold for Google, honestly. I mean, they are not going to go kicking and screaming into this era. They're like, okay, this is the new era.
But what about all those times
However much I
you don't
hate
know
that
exactly
branding,
what to ask?
but if this is
You
the
need
new
some
era,
brainstorming.
they're going in and they're going to dive head first.
come to search
And they'll
for
figure out the
ideas, you'll get
monetization.
more than
So
an AI generated
that's,
answer.
that is
You'll get an
interesting. And this also
entire
won't show up for
AI
every search result, by the
custom
way.
built for you.
Is these
And
AI
your
overviews will basically try to assess
Say
your
you're heading to
intent.
Dallas to
Do you
celebrate
want a
your
generative response or
Looking
do
for
you
the
want 10
perfect
blue
recipe.
links?
That's
And
nice.
then they will decide. And
Once
every
you get
search
to your
engine is
break,
going to
AI
do this
out
from
of the box,
Perplexity on down.
And it brings it to the whole page. Our Gemini model uncovers the most interesting angles for you to explore and organizes these results into these helpful clusters. Like you might never have considered restaurants with live.
It seems not to be using generative AI. It seems to be organizing the information better. Is that, am I getting that right?
It uses contextual factors like the time of the
It's
year.
not generating.
So since it's warm
It's still
in Dallas,
searching. It's still giving you.
It looked like some of the results had summaries. I mean, that's what others are doing. That's
Yeah,
what
that.
Complexity's doing,
Right.
and that's generative. I don't know.
experience.
Yeah, I mean, this is
You'll
just
start to see this new
keyword
AI organized search
based,
results
you know.
page.
Yeah.
And you
That's why
look
it
for
looks more like the
inspiration,
general problem solver than
starting
it
with
did like
dining and recipes,
an LLM.
and coming to movies, music, books, hotels, shopping, and more.
Margarita Vestager just sat up in her seat.
Today, you've seen how you can bring any question to search, and Google takes the work out of searching. But your questions aren't limited to words in a text box. And sometimes even that picture can't tell
Does she
the
have an
whole story.
iPhone?
Earlier demonstrates you our
Whoops.
latest advancements in video understanding. And I'm really excited to share that soon you'll be able to ask questions with video right in Google Search. Let me introduce
Ask
Rose to show
with
you this
video.
in a live demo. Thank you, Liz.
Did she bring a little push cart in?
I have always run a record player.
I
And
want
I
one
got
of those.
this one and some vinyls at a yard sale recently. But when I go to play it, this thing keeps lighting up.
Yeah, we better ask
I have no
Gemini
idea how
what's
to fix
going on
it
there.
or where to even start. Before
Just put a quarter on it like we always did, right?
Try to figure this out. Like, what make
Yep.
is this record player?
Kids
What's the
today.
model? And what is this thing actually called? But now,
That's a Techniques Direct Drive turntable.
so let's try it. Let's do a
Oh,
live
so this
demo.
is the demo we saw in the office.
I'm going to take a video and ask Google why
It actually says what
will
kind of
this
turntable
not
it is right there
stay in place.
on the label.
And in a near instant, Google gives me an AI overview.
There's the
some
generative.
reasons this might be happening and steps I can take to troubleshoot.
I'm telling you, put
So
a
let's,
quarter on the arm.
First, this is called a toner.
I do love how we've invented generative AI to tell us to turn it off and then turn it back on again.
And I love that because I'm new to all this. I can check out this helpful link from Audio Technica to learn even more. So that was pretty
The question is how long people are going to make those helpful links if they can't put Google Ads on there to generate revenue.
Let me walk
People
you
aren't
through
going
what
there.
just happened. Thanks to a combination of our state-of-the-art speech model.
That's why we've got to change to an API-based structure
and our
with
custom
keys
Gemini model.
and
Search was able to understand the question
recompense
I asked out loud,
for it.
break down the video
Maybe.
frame by frame.
Yeah, honestly, this is the whole problem with AI is it disintermediates humans. I mean,
So search could then
I've been arguing to the news industry that they've got to create an API for news and use that as the
back
basis
to
of
micropages that people have been saying for years, and we've never really got it working.
expand out and comb the web to find relevant insights from articles, forums, videos, and more. And then stitch all of this together into my AI overview. The result was music to my ears.
I hope she gets a
Back
big
to
ad for
Liz.
a dishwasher, but maybe not.
Everything you saw today is just a glimpse of how we're reimagining Google search in the Gemini era. We're taking the very best of what
Imagine
makes Google
Ask with Video with Google Glass.
all the reasons why billions of people turn to Google search and have relied on us for decades. And we're bringing in the power of Gemini's agentive capabilities.
Well, that's what Alex was saying. I agree
will do
that
the searching,
all of this becomes much more
the
interesting in a pair of glasses.
the planning, the brainstorming.
And
Google
I,
was there.
I think everybody's aware of the fact that that's where
All
we're
you
headed.
need to do is
And,
just
and
ask.
that will be the end game for all of this. It's not a phone.
And that's the antecedent as well. What's that?
Right.
Tell me about
Optimistic
this.
Labs to be among the first to try them out. Now let's take a look at how this all comes together.
So
in
just
Google
a brief
this year.
programming note. You are watching This Week in Google. We've flip-flopped with MacBreak Weekly, which will be on Wednesday. Jason Snell will have his new iPad Pro. Michael Sargent might, and I might, and we will talk about the iPad Pro tomorrow between 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern, or Pacific. Our version of MacBreak Weekly is tomorrow. And this is This Week in Google. Jeff Jarvis joining us, and from the Big Technology Podcast, Alex Kantrowitz. Alex, it's great to have your insight here. We should have done this years ago. Super
it's really
smart.
fun watching with you guys.
Super connected with all this stuff, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
If you're not a subscriber, bigtechnology.com, and you should subscribe.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah. And the podcast has just the best interviews, including Demis Hassabis.
Yeah,
What?
well, actually, so Demis actually spoke with me for a print story, but I've been speaking with the team, and I'm feeling good about getting him on sometime within the next couple months.
Deepmind, yeah.
He is a fascinating guy. I mean, I wrote a very long profile of him, about 2,500 words, which is like the longest story in Big Technology podcast history. But he basically, Big Technology history. He really had this interesting background of working on games and trying to build the autonomous characters.
Yeah, that's right. Quite interesting.
That is, again, that's coming all the way back around, where now we're starting to say, hey, can these AI bots be agents for us? And what is an agent if not like a player within a game learning how to navigate it on its own?
You have to pay to get it. bigtechnology.com. Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis. I have to keep practicing the name.
You're pretty good with
Alex Kantrowitz.
That's
Usually I
right.
am. And it should be Demi Hasabi, but okay.
Making Gemini for Workspace.
He decided to add the
more
S. That's,
helpful for businesses and
that's fine.
consumers across the world. Tens of
They charge a
thousands of
fortune.
Customers have been using Help Me Write,
And I can't get it
Help Me
without
Visualize, Help Me Organize since
thinking
we
of a
launched.
company.
And now we're really excited that the new Gemini-powered side panel will be generally available next month. One of our customers is a
The
local
Gemini-enabled
favorite right here in
side
California.
panel.
Sports Basement.
Which everybody else could get, but
They rolled
Workspace
out
couldn't, I
Gemini
think.
for
Oh, I
Workspace
see.
To the
Okay.
organization.
Congratulations.
That's what I was trying to
This has
catch.
helped
Well done.
improve the productivity of their customer support team by more than 30%. Customers love how Gemini grows participation in meetings with automatic language detection and real-time captions now expanding to 68 languages.
This is good to see. OpenAI is doing the same thing as to
We are
make this
really
international.
excited about what Gemini 1.0.
Do you know, Alex, if you have to retrain if you're going to do it in a different language? I guess you would. You'd have to have a new model.
Let me
Well, the funny thing is that this all began with language translation, right? Like that was the transform. The whole idea was to transform one language to the other. So
is my Gmail
I'm actually not aware of the intricacies in terms of trying to build it back in one language, but I think that it might be easier than we imagine.
Now,
Easy,
we've
of course,
been
being
trying to
relative.
find a contractor to fix our roof. And with work travel, I have clearly dropped the ball. It looks like there's an email thread on this with lots of emails that I haven't read. And luckily
Of course,
for
you have to
me,
use Gmail
I
to
can
use this, and I
simply
don't.
tap the summarize option up top and skip
so-
reading this long back and forth. Now, Gemini pulls up
Every time I summarize my
helpful
Gmail, it's
mobile
just a
card
bunch of
as an
spam.
overlay. And this is where I can read a nice summary.
You have been selected, Leo.
all
I
the
have.
salient information that I need.
I could ask it to tell me everything
so I
it
see
knows
here
about
that we have a
Viagra,
quote
but
from Jeff at Green Roofing, and he's ready to start.
unfortunately, a lot of my spam's in French
Now,
because my
I
Gmail
know
is
we had
Laporte
other
at
bids,
Gmail, and
I
they
don't
think I'm
remember the details.
French.
Previously, I would
Imagine.
have had to do a number
This'll
of
be
searches
useful.
in
Le
Gmail
Viagra.
and remember and
Le
compare
Viagra.
information across different emails.
Viagra. Viagra.
Now, I can simply type out my question right here in the mobile card and say something like, compare my roof repair bids by price and availability.
That's pretty cool.
This new Q&A feature makes it so easy to get quick answers on anything in my inbox. For example,
So we're going to have contractors sending out AI-generated bids, and then Gemini and Gmail evaluating those bids. And then how
Well, what we are
often-
going to see is contractors sending out things that are going to be SEO'd. It's now going to be AI-EO'd.
Yeah,
Looks like Gemini has
I like
found
it.
details that I
AI-EO'd.
got from two other contractors in completely different email threads, and I have this really nicely organized summary, and I can do a quick comparison. So it seems like Jeff's quote was right in the middle. He can start immediately, so green roofing it is. I'll open that last email from Jeff and confirm the project. And look at that. I see some suggested replies from Gemini. Now, what is really, really neat about this evolution of Smart Reply is that it's contextual. Gemini understood the back and forth in that thread and that Jeff was ready to start, so offers me a few customized options based on that context. So, here I see I have declined the service.
This is a
just
little
need time.
overly
I'll choose
specific.
proceed
if you
and
ask me.
confirm time.
I get the idea. Move on.
I can even see a preview of the full reply simply by long pressing. This looks reasonable, so I'll hit send. These new capabilities in Gemini and Gmail will start rolling out this month to labs users.
And they will start being gamed almost instantly. Oh, she's got a big yawn there. Good job.
Okay,
Good job.
so one of the really neat things about Workspace apps like Gmail, Drive, Docs, Calendar
Fire
is
that
how
director.
well they work together. And in our daily lives, we often
Focused
have
right on the
information
lady
that goes
yawning.
from one app to another. Like, say,
By the way, I
adding
mean,
a calendar entry
Google
to
I/O
email.
is early in the
Or
morning
creating
Pacific time,
reminders in a
and
spreadsheet
it takes you got to get there early.
But what
If you want to park,
Gemini
walk
can make
over,
these journeys
and it's
totally
usually like
seamless?
pretty. I mean, today looks cloudy, but usually pretty sunny
automate them
in this outdoor amphitheater. And I think the enduring memory I have
what
of
I
going
mean
so many years
with
when
a
I lived out in
real-life
San Francisco was just how tired I was
My
at this
sister
event. It was the
is a
most tired I've been at
self-employed
any
photographer.
event.
And her
Was
inbox
always Google
full
I/O.
of
I think this is going to be the
Felt like
new.
I needed a nap
This is
by
going to be the
2 p.m.
new left
and
shark.
so much more.
This lady
Now,
yawning.
if
Can you
you're
get that,
a
Benito?
freelancer or a small business, you really want to focus on your craft. Not
Well
moving
done,
and-
Benito.
So let's go to her inbox and take a look.
I empathize with this woman,
Lots of
honestly.
I do too.
Click on the
That was
first
me.
one.
Maybe she doesn't want a roofing job. I don't know.
It's got a PDF that's an attachment from a hotel as a receipt.
Oh,
And
now
I
we've
see a
moved on to
suggestion in the side panel.
hotels.
Help me organize and track my receipts. Let's click on this prompt. The side panel now
I think this
will
is
show
great.
me more details about what that
email
If
has
you use
gone
Gmail,
from
but it's not that useful if you don't
There's
use
2 steps here.
Gmail,
Step
right?
one,
Yeah.
create a drive
Well, yeah.
folder,
Well,
and put
I mean,
this
obviously,
entry
Gmail
and
plugin.
37 others it's found into
Email
that
has
folder.
gone, and I think others will copy it. But
Step 2,
I think email's gone from
extract the relevant
communication to really a
information from those
task
receipts in that
platform.
folder into a
And
new
so this type of
spreadsheet.
stuff
Now,
is
this sounds
actually like
simple. Why not? I also have
sort
the
of
option to
built.
edit these
There's
actions
been really
or just hit OK.
little innovation in
let's hit
Gmail. Gmail's now like it did
Gemini will
previously,
now
and it's actually
complete
good to
two
see
steps described
some building
above,
here
and this is where it gets
around
even
tasks.
better. Gemini offers you the option to automate this so that this particular workflow is run on all future emails, keeping your drive folder and expense sheet up to date with no effort from you.
As Joe in our Discord says, help me give you all of my purchase data to train on and serve ads against, organize my receipts.
Now, we know that creating a complex spreadsheet like this can be daunting.
It's true, though,
for most
right? This is
people.
just a big data
But with
grab.
this automation, Gemini does the hard work of extracting all the right
And this
Oh, they
is
already
the-
have your
all the
receipts
files
for
That's
what it's
true. I
worth.
already
folder
know.
and generate
But this
the
is
sheet
the
for
this
you.
is the challenge
So
Apple
let's take
faces,
a look.
and
Okay,
anybody who's
it's
not
super
Google
well
in some ways
organized.
faces this.
And it even has a
They got to
category
get
for
permission to see all your
expense type.
stuff.
Now, we have this.
And you have to
Yeah,
trust
Apple
them.
played.
Can get even more
Apple
fun.
played. Oh, we're privacy because they
Ask
failed in
Gemini
advertising.
questions.
Yeah,
And
they
they may
haven't
regret
tried.
that now.
That's right.
Show
They
me where
tried
the
but
money
failed.
spent.
Yeah.
Gemini not only analyzes the data from the sheet, but also creates a nice visual to help me see the complete breakdown by category.
Mary, you're wasting your
And
money.
You can imagine how this extends to all sorts of use cases in your inbox, like travel expenses, shopping, remodeling projects.
Leo has a big red AI
All
bar
of that
there.
information in Gmail can be put to good use and help you work, plan, and play better. Now, this particular,
I know. It's so good, isn't it?
This particular ability to organize your attachments in Drive and generate a sheet and do data analysis via Q&A will be rolling out to labs.
We're going to continue with our coverage of Google I/O in just a moment. We thank Alex Kantrowitz of the Big Technology Podcast for joining us. Of course, Jeff Jarvis,
will continue to unlock
professor, et cetera, emeritus.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Gutenbergparenthesis.com. Don't worry, we're going to pause the video, and we'll be right back after this word. Fear not, we will be right back. We're pausing the video, so you won't miss a second of this thrilling, gripping Google I/O. But I wanted to mention our sponsor, Fastmail, because they're going to talk a lot about Gmail. But let me tell you something. I abandoned Gmail a decade ago for a privacy-forward email client. If you use email, if you need email, if email is important to you, you really shouldn't be using free email. You should be using an email provider that cares about you, protects your privacy, has excellent support. That's Fastmail, a leader in email privacy for more than 20 years. I use Fastmail. I love Fastmail. It's the only email I use. They're moving email forward with new standards. They really give back to the community. They use the open source IMAP server called Cyrus, but they contribute back to it. They also create new standards for authentication. In fact, they create innovations that many other email services then adopt. But Fastmail is where it all starts. These guys and gals are fantastic. I even have all my domain email go through Fastmail. So I have many, many different .coms, .email. I run them all through Fastmail. Fastmail sets it up. You can actually buy your domains there, but I in most cases I don't need to because I have existing domains. So I bring them over just with the MX record. So Fastmail handles the mail, still have the website and all the other stuff hosted elsewhere. But Fastmail does the email. But because they're doing the email, they do it right. They support all the email authentication protocols, SPF, DKIM, DMARC, which means that my emails get through to everybody. That's really, really important. Fastmail lets you use your client, whatever you're using today, because it's standard IMAP. But if you want, you can use the Fastmail iOS or Android apps. I do. They're the best apps for email. They're fantastic. Or Fastmail's webmail interface. Their quick settings in webmail make it easy to choose new themes, switch between light and dark modes, change text size, generate masked email addresses, autosave contacts, set default reminders, and more. It makes it very easy for you to, by the way, use calendars and address books too. And their filtering capability is so fantastic. One of the things I do with Fastmail is I automatically add people I want to hear from to my contact list. And then I tell Fastmail, if email is addressed directly to me and is from somebody in my contact list, put that in an important folder. Then, of course, I have the VIP folder, and then I have the unimportant folder. Fastmail lets me filter my email better than anybody. And, of course, Fastmail is private. You pay for free email with your privacy. At Fastmail, your data stays yours, and it's as little as $3 a month. So it's worth paying. If email is important to you, $3 a month. It's very easy to move to Fastmail. You can export your old data, move it into Fastmail, or keep your old account, which is what I did, and have it go to Fastmail, where I can apply the Fastmail filtering and make it useful. Better spam filters, no ads. Oh, I mentioned the masked email addresses. Let me reiterate that. If you use Bitwarden, our sponsor, or 1Password, they support these masked email addresses. They're unique for every site you log into, but they all go into your Fastmail inbox. You can also use filtering with them. That's a really nice way to double your security. And I can go on and on. Look, try it. You can do it for free for the next 30 days when you go to fastmail.com/twit. Fastmail, the better email service. I think quality is worth paying for. That's why I've been using Fastmail for so long. I love it. You will too. Fastmail.com/twit. Of course, you can have your company name. You can have Leo at twit.tv or whatever, and have that unique address just for you at Fastmail. It's really great. Fastmail.com/twit. All right, let's get back to Google I.O. We paused the video. Don't worry, you didn't miss a second. Let's see what they're talking about right now. We're continuing with our coverage of Google I.O. and this intensely interesting discussion of something.
For example, when we work with other people, we mention them in comments in docs, or we send them emails. We have group chats with them, etc. And it's not just how we collaborate with each other, but we each have a specific role to play in the team. And as the team works
I guess it's because I'm just not in an enterprise that it just doesn't interest me.
To learn from each other. We have the combined set of skills to draw from.
You are in an enterprise. You just don't care.
I am the enterprise. And that org chart, it's a little smaller.
On this shared expertise. Well, here's
Leo, Lisa, everybody.
That's it.
A virtual Gemini-powered.
Unfortunately, my org chart begins and ends in bed.
Has an identity, a Workspace account, along with a specific role and objective. Let me bring Tony up to show you what I mean.
Oh, please don't.
Hey, Tony.
Please don't. Oh, here comes Tony.
Are you not a Tony fan?
I don't know. It's not Tony himself.
So let me start by showing you how we set up this virtual teammate.
Oh, okay.
Virtual teammates does not.
The teammate has his very own account, and we can go ahead and give it a name. We'll do
here's
something
Tony.
fun like.
He has his own account.
Chip's been given a specific job role with a set of descriptions on how to be helpful for the team. You can see that here. And some of the jobs are to monitor and track projects. We've listed a few out. To organize information and provide context.
I'm sure this is of great interest to enterprises.
Now that
bureaucrats everywhere.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and see Chip in action. To do that,
I watched a presentation earlier today about doing projects, and it's just filled with this kind of crap.
Oh, yeah. It's a big issue, I guess.
Luckily for me, Chip is in all of them.
Still to come, I think, Android 15.
I might ask
don't know.
Like,
at this point.
Know if our I/O.
I'm really not sure why they're doing this at a developer conference. Even I just don't get it. This feels like corporate politics at work.
Chip to track this project. Chip searches across.
They said we're going to give you 15 minutes
to
demonstrate something, and this is what we get.
Simple, but very helpful.
Well, this is AI reaching across corporate internal data.
More group chats, more files, more email threads. Chip builds a collective memory of our work together. Let's look at an example. To show you, I'll switch over to a different room. How about Project Sapphire over here? And here we are discussing a product release coming up. And as usual, many pieces are still in flight. So I can go ahead and ask, are we on track for launch? Chip gets to work not only searching through everything it has access to, but also synthesizing what's found and coming back with an up-to-date response. There it is. A clear timeline, a nice summary, and notice even in this first message here, Chip flags a potential issue the team should be aware of.
Hi, this is Chip.
Because we're in a group space,
your virtual teammate.
Anyone can jump in at any time.
When's lunch?
You see someone just did.
You might know my uncle,
Asking
Clippy.
Chip to help create a doc.
Exactly.
A task like this could take me hours, dozens of hours. Chip can get it all done in just a few minutes, sending the doc over
This
right
is
when it's
why
ready.
I hate Chip
So
with
much
a
of this
passion that
practical
burns
helpfulness
like a flame.
comes from how we've customized Chip to our team's needs.
Chip and Tony,
How
look out.
seamlessly
Get
the AI
out.
is integrated directly into where we're already working. Back to you, Aparna.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony, for that stimulating discussion.
Now, I can
Poor Tony.
imagine
He just woke up this
number of
morning and tried to
virtual
present a
types of
workplace chat.
number of different types of
Then
virtual
this week in
teammates
Google.
configured by
rocked him.
businesses
I'm
to
sorry,
help
Tony.
them do what they need.
It's not your fault.
Now, we have a lot of work to do to figure out how to bring these agentive experiences like virtual teammates into Workspace, including
Did she say
engaging
agentific?
third parties to make
Agentific
their
entities or
very
something?
own
It was a
No,
weird...
agentific.
Very
Agentic.
excited about where this is
Agentific.
That's the
headed,
word
so
people
stay
use.
tuned.
Agentic.
And as Gemini and its capabilities continue to evolve, we're diligently bringing that power directly into Workspace to make all our users
Aren't you
more
glad, Jeff?
productive and creative.
So exciting for
both
you
at
and-
home and at work.
Not
Your
there.
Workspace.
And now,
Oh,
over to
Workspace, yeah.
Sissy to tell you more about Gemini App.
Gemini App.
Apps are interesting because, of course, this is what OpenAI's been doing with ChatGPT, although they still don't have an app store exactly.
Our vision for the Gemini app is to be the most helpful personal AI assistant by giving you direct access to Google's latest AI models. Gemini can help you learn, create,
On the Android phone, you
and
can
anything
replace
else
Google
you can
Assistant
imagine.
with Gemini, but
and
it's
over
not
the
as good.
past
It's not
year,
as...
Gemini has
it's a
put
very different
Google's
experience.
AI in the hands of millions of people with experiences designed for your phone and the web. We also launched Gemini Advanced, our premium subscription for access to the latest AI innovations from Google. Today, we'll show you how Gemini is delivering our most intelligent AI experience. Let's start with the Gemini app, which is redefining how we interact with AI. It's natively multimodal, so you can use text, voice, or your phone's camera to express yourself naturally. And this summer, you can have an in-depth conversation with Gemini using your voice. We're calling this new experience Live. Using Google's latest model,
Google branding.
Gemini can better understand you and answer naturally. You can even interrupt while Gemini is responding, and it will
Another thing that
adapt to your speech
OpenAI announced
pattern.
yesterday.
They added that into
And
the
this
script
is
last
just
night,
the
I guarantee.
Yeah.
We're excited to bring this.
Do you think
speaking
OpenAI
and
stole
video
the fire of
understanding
Google
capabilities
effectively?
from
At first, I
Project
was like,
Astra
I wasn't
to
sure,
Gemini
but
App.
they did get ahead
When
of a
you
lot of
go
these
live,
announcements.
You'll be able to open
You're
your
an Oleo?
camera so
I would
Gemini
say
can see what you see.
what they did is they
Respond to
showed
your surroundings
parody.
in real time.
And,
Right.
and
Now,
perhaps
the
you're
way
right that
I
they've
use
made
Gemini
people feel
is
like,
the
oh,
way
Google's
you use Gemini.
playing catch up.
So we're rolling out a new
Even though
feature
really
that lets you
they're
customize
basically
it
parallel.
for your own needs and create personal experts on any topic you want. We're calling these gems.
I think if
Did she
OpenAI
gasp
went,
with a gasp in despair when she said that? I think she did.
I think that was us.
Oh, was that us?
They're really
Okay.
simple to set up.
Yes,
Just
I think that
tap
was
to
Jeff.
create a gem, write your instructions once, and come back.
I was
to
calling
whatever
this
you need.
gems. I lost the fight.
For
I'm
example,
sorry,
here's
guys.
a gem that I created that acts as a personal writing coach. It
I suppose if
specializes
OpenAI
in
went
short
after
stories
Google, it
with
would have been
mysterious twists. And
bad
it
for
even
them.
builds on the story
Like they had
drafts
to come
in
out
my
as the
Google
opener
Drive.
effectively.
Yeah, and in
I
fact, that
call
was
it the
almost the
cliffhanger
very first
curator.
thing out of her
Now,
mouth.
gems are a great
Nina
time
Morari's
saver
mouth
when you
is,
have
we're
specific
open.
ways that you want to interact with Gemini.
Whether that's
again
true or
and
not is
again.
another matter, and I think
Gems
it's
will roll out
not
in
exactly
the coming
true,
months,
but
and our trusted testers
not in
are
the way
already
that, say,
finding
Llama
so
or
many
Mistral
creative ways
is
to
open.
put them to use. They can act as your yoga bestie, your personal sous
Oh,
chef,
this is going
a
more
brainy
into
calculus
the
tutor,
sort of GPT
a
style.
peer
You can
tutor,
create your own bot.
These are
and
GPTs.
so much more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, I'll show you how Gemini is taking
I've
a
actually
step
had custom
closer to being a
GPTs
true
since they
AI
announced it, and I love them. They're very
by
useful.
planning
You do like them? Which ones do you use?
Well, I use it for one
Now,
for
we all
coding. I have
know
a
that
common Lisp
chatbots can give you
GPT, and I have an
ideas
Emacs
for your next vacation,
GPT.
but
In
there's a
both
lot
cases,
more that
they're
goes into planning a
long-standing
great trip.
technologies where all the manuals
requires
are open.
reasoning that
Many of the
considers
books are
space, time
now
logistics,
public domain,
and
so
the
it's very easy to build a
intelligence to
training corpus
prioritize and make
for both of them.
decisions.
Oh,
And it's very
Nice.
That
good.
reasoning
Yeah.
and intelligence all come together. in the
Although I have to
trip
say,
planning
Gemini
experience in
Advanced
Gemini Advanced.
does
Now, it
as
all
good a
starts with
job.
a
I
prompt.
just have to
Okay,
say,
so
hey,
here
tell
we
me how
go.
to do that in Common Lisp, not
We're going
Python.
to
And it
Miami.
does it.
Yeah.
My son
So-
loves art, My husband loves seafood. And our flight and hotel details are already
I've done this. I did this
a
year ago.
Now, there's a lot going
with
on
OpenAI
Everyone
had
has
an
their own things that they
unscheduled
wanna do.
stop in Genoa,
To make
and it
sense of
generated
these
quite a nice little
variables,
walking
Gemini
tour.
starts by gathering all kinds of information from search and helpful extensions like Maps and Gmail. It uses that data to create a dynamic graph of possible travel options.
So if you're tuning in for
taking into
MacBreak Weekly
account
once
all of my
again, that will be
priorities and
tomorrow
constraints.
in the This Week in Google time
The end
slot, 2 to
result
5
is
p.m.
a
Pacific.
personalized vacation plan
This is
presented
we
in
flip-flopped.
Gemini's
This is
new
This Week in Google
dynamic
because
UI.
we wanted to cover Google I/O.
Now, based on my flight information, Gemini knows that I need a 2.5-day itinerary.
I just noted my Notebook
And you
LM
can
says
see how
you've been
Gemini
upgraded
uses
to Gemini
spatial
1.5.
data
Excellent.
to make
Nice.
decisions.
Well, in Notebook LM.
Yeah.
Our flight lands in the late afternoon, so Gemini skips a big activity that day and finds a highly rated seafood restaurant close to our hotel. Now, on Sunday, we have a jam-packed day.
Again, this is something I did literally a year
My family
ago.
likes to sleep in. So I tap to change the start time, and just like that, Gemini adjusted my itinerary for the rest of the trip. It moved our walking tour to the next day and added lunch options near the Street Art Museum to make the most of our Sunday afternoon.
I asked it to
This looks
do a walking tour of
It would've
Genoa
taken
that
me
would
hours of work,
start in a particular
checking
location,
multiple
last an
sources,
hour, and then suggest
figuring
something for
out
lunch. I was able to do all of that
and Gemini
a year
did
ago.
this in a fraction of the time. This new trip
Whether it
planning
was great,
experience
I
will be
don't know.
rolling out to Gemini Advanced this summer, just in time to help you plan your own Labor Day
This summer.
weekend.
Only a little. Here it is. In fact,
It'd be so much better if they could say things were available today.
All right.
And they just change their biorhythms.
This is just Google.
You heard
So
Sundar
this is
say
a
earlier that
ChatGPT
starting
3,
today,
I think,
Gemini Advanced
itinerary
subscribers
again that I
get
did in
access to
April of
Gemini
2023,
1.5 Pro with 1 million
and it was quite
tokens.
good.
That is
I wonder
the
if you did it
longest
again, what-
context window of
what's that?
any chatbot in the
Well, the fun thing is every time you do it, it gives you a different tour.
Yeah.
But we
unlocks
basically
incredible
duplicated it.
new
It was
potential
accurate.
in AI.
It was very
so
good.
you can tackle complex problems that were previously unimaginable. You can upload a PDF up to 1,500 pages long.
It was, I think, my
multiple
third. It
files
looks
to
like my
get
third
insights across a
query
project.
for ChatGPT.
And soon you can
Must have
upload
been
as much
3.5
as
back then.
30,000 lines of code or even an hour-long video. Gemini Advanced is the only chatbot that lets you process this amount of information.
Yeah, April 22nd,
Now, just imagine
2023.
how useful this will be for students. Let's say you've spent months on your thesis and you could really use a fresh perspective. You can upload your entire thesis, your sources, your notes, your research, and soon interview audio recordings and videos too. So Gemini has all of this context to give you actionable advice. It can dissect your main points, identify improvements, and even role play as your professor. So you can feel confident in your work. And check out what Gemini Advanced can do with your spreadsheets, with the new data analysis feature launching in the coming weeks. Maybe you have a side hustle selling handcrafted products, but you're a better artist than accountant, and it's really hard to understand which products are worth your time. Simply upload all of your spreadsheets and ask Gemini to visualize your earnings and help you understand your profit. Gemini goes to work calculating your returns and pulling its analysis together into a single chart so you can easily understand which products are really paying off. Now, behind the scenes, Gemini writes custom Python code to crunch these numbers. And of course, your files are not used to train our models. Oh, and just one more thing. Later
So
this
1
year,
year ago, my very first query with ChatGPT, do you know any 5-letter words where the second letter is U and the fifth letter is O? It said, yes, one example is gumbo. Second letter is U, fifth letter is O. I just asked Gemini Advanced the same question. It said, here are a few words that fit that pattern. Humor, wrong. And furos, Japanese bathhouses, wrong in both cases. O is the fourth letter. That's today.
Can't count, Leo. It
Gemini
can't count.
Advanced.
But AGI is right around the corner, Leo.
But my point is that ChatGPT did it a year ago perfectly.
Available today.
Well,
Oh.
that.
I mean, maybe that. I mean, it's a trivial example. It just happened to be one of my first queries of ChatGPT. I was just curious how Gemini.
Well, try ChatGPT now.
With a simple prompt.
See if it's a perfect still. It might be also.
Sure, here's some 5-letter words. Yeah, in fact, it came up with more. Junko, Mungo, Bumbo, and Bunko.
Image of a cat playing guitar.
All of those are correct.
Is that how it works?
Didn't come up with
are those words?
Yeah, it just does.
Yes. Sort of.
Junko?
That's a good question.
I just tried it in Claude. It gave me 5. 3 were right. 2 were wrong.
Junko is a small North American finch seen chiefly in winter. So there. Let's see what Mungo is. Mungo Jerry, right? Yeah. You're watching our coverage. We're in a slow point, I'll be honest, of Google I/O 2024 edition with Jeff Jarvis and the excellent Alex Kantrowitz. This is This Week in Google. We'll have more in a moment. We'll pause this exciting musical moment for a word from our sponsor. Don't worry, you won't miss a moment. We'll be right back with This Week in Google and Google I/O in a second. Don't worry, I've paused. Everybody's frozen on the stage at Shoreline Amphitheater, so I can talk to you about the Eufy Video Smart Lock E330. We're putting these in anywhere. We just put everywhere. We just put it on the engineering room door. There it is. Security is really important. That's all of the servers are in there, and Micah did it with one screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, in just a few minutes. It was very easy to install. And what do we get? Oh, so you get video, you get a smart lock, you get fingerprint recognition, 0.3-second fingerprint recognition, 1-second unlocking. In fact, they have an embedded AI self-learning chip that becomes more accurate with every use. It has a removable rechargeable battery, 10,000 milliamp hours. That's going to get you about 4 months. Look at this. He's got this all in already. You are fast. There goes the battery. You'll get a battery low warning if it goes low. And the other thing I love about it is it actually has a key. So you can unlock the Eufy video lock with a regular key should the power go out. But it won't. I mean, I love this thing. You've got passcode unlocking. See the keypad there? You've got remote control, fingerprint reader. You've got 2K ClearSight video, 2-way audio, enhanced night vision. Tell you why the video is great. It's like a video doorbell. But if somebody wants to get in, let's say Burke has forgotten his fingerprints and he wants to get in to the engineering room, he just presses the doorbell. Micah can see the picture. He can talk 2-way audio and say, all right, and let Burke in. Now that's sweet. Here's the best part. I buried the lead. No monthly fees. There's no subscription for this. And they don't upload your videos to the cloud. You keep your video recordings local, which means you're not paying for storage. It's one of the reasons you don't have to pay for a subscription. This is completely local, which is fantastic. Enjoy a worry-free experience. They've got an extensive 18-month warranty and fantastic 24/7 professional customer service team. Now, if you may say, oh, what's Eufy? I never heard of Eufy is Anker's special home security brand. Okay, so this is Anker, A-N-K-E-R. You know we love Anker. Anker is fantastic. Eufy is just as good. I use Eufy cameras and locks everywhere. This is the lock you've been looking for. You can get it today. Just search for Eufy Video Lock on Amazon, E-U-F-Y, Eufy Video Lock, or visit eufy.com, EUFY.com. Thank you, Eufy, for this incredible video lock. This does it all. You know, you got your doorbell, you got your camera, and you got your lock, fingerprint reader, passcode, even a key, and everything local with no subscription. Search Eufy Video Lock on Amazon. Now, let's get back to Google I/O. Press the play button, Benito.
Image of a cat playing guitar.
And we're back with a generated image of a cat playing guitar. Oh, here we are at Shoreline Amphitheater. It looks like a full house. Mostly developers. We know there's media because Jason Howell and the Android Faithful team are there. Here comes Samir Samat. We love
everyone.
Samir.
It's great to be back at Google I/O. Today, you've seen how AI is transforming our products across Gemini, Search, Workspace, and more. We're bringing all these innovations right onto your Android phone. And we're going even further to make Android the best place to experience Google AI. This new era of AI is a profound opportunity to make smartphones truly smart. Our phones have come a long way in a short time, but if you think about it, it's been years since the user experience has fundamentally transformed. This is a once-in-a-generation moment to reinvent what phones can do. So we've embarked on a multi-year journey to reimagine Android with AI at the core. And it starts with 3 breakthroughs you'll see this year.
Again,
First,
this year,
AI-powered search
it's only May.
right at your fingertips, creating
They're
entirely
notorious
new
for
ways
this.
to get the answers you need. Second, Gemini is becoming your new AI assistant on Android.
I've done both of these
There to
things
help
already.
There goes the Google Assistant.
Right. I replaced the
third,
Google Assistant on my
we're
Pixel
harnessing on-device
with
AI to
Gemini
unlock new
when they
experiences that
first
work as
came out with
fast
that
as
a
you
year-
do
a couple of weeks
while
ago, I think.
keeping your sensitive data private. Let's start
So is
with
this a
AI
preview of
powered
what
search.
Apple's going to introduce at WWDC
Earlier
as
this
well?
year, we took
Like,
an
I
important
wonder if
first
this is
step
going to look
at
exactly
Samsung
like what we're about to
Unpacked
see next
by
month.
introducing
It's
search.
very
They got a
interesting.
license
It brings the best of
model?
search directly into the
So the
user
rumor on
experience.
Apple was that
So
they have
you can
talked
go
to
deeper
both
on
Google and
anything you see on
OpenAI.
your phone.
And just a day before the OpenAI
Fashionistas are
4.0
finding the perfect
announcement,
shoes.
they announced,
Home chefs are
or the
discovering
rumor
new
was they were
ingredients.
very close to a
And
deal with
with our
OpenAI. I
latest
suspect they'll
update,
offer both.
It's never been easier to translate whatever's on your screen.
Is that
Like
Lando Norris?
social posts
It
in
is.
another language. And there are
So
even more ways
Android
Circle
sponsors
Search can
the
help.
McLaren F1
One thing
race
we've heard from
cars.
students is that
Chrome
they're
also
doing more
sponsors
of
it,
their
actually.
schoolwork
So that's
directly
cute.
on their phones
Lando
and
just won
tablets.
his first Grand Prix
So we
last
thought,
week.
could Circle the Search be your perfect study buddy? Let's say my son needs help with a tricky physics word problem.
It's so interesting to see how in
My first
lockstep
thought
both OpenAI and Google are on this stuff.
It's been a while since I've thought about kinematics.
It will be interesting to see what Apple does in
He's
3
stumped
weeks.
on this question. Instead of putting me on the spot, he can circle the exact part he's stuck on and get step-by-step instructions. Right
Is
where he's
circling
already
that
doing
much
the
different
work.
from selecting?
Of course.
It's just
Why
Well,
not?
because you
Weird
might
things.
circle 2 points. You might.
Acceleration times
Yeah, you
variable.
try, okay, it's just another way of selecting text in this case.
It's also,
just
I'm
about
sorry, I'm
to
going to be, it's an antecedent. I mean
Seriously,
that.
though, I love how it shows
Yeah.
how to solve the problem, not just the answer. This new capability is available today.
All right.
And later this year, Circle the Search will be able to tackle more complex problems involving symbolic formulas, diagrams, graphs, and more. Circle the Search is only on Android. It's available
Just don't
on more
ask
than
it
100 million
for
devices
5-letter
today,
words
and
where
we're
the
on
5th letter
track
is
to
O.
double that by the end of the year.
Whatever you do. As far as I know,
You've already
Mungo
heard
and
from
Bumbo
Sissy
are
about
not
the
words, by the
incredible
way.
updates coming to the Gemini app.
Thank you.
On Android, Gemini is so much more. It's becoming a
It wouldn't be hard to
foundational
tie it to a
part of the
dictionary.
Android
Yeah,
experience.
I think they could have done better.
Here's Dave to share more.
Samir is the head of Android, the new head of Android. Not sure who Dave Burke is.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, I know Dave Burke.
I know Dave.
Yeah.
We launched Gemini on Android.
He's one of
And
their
like Circle
best
the Search,
presenters, actually.
Gemini works at the
Yes.
system level. So instead of
He's VP
going to a
engineering
separate app,
for Android.
I can bring Gemini right to what I'm doing. Now, we're making Gemini context aware, so it can anticipate what you're trying to do and provide more helpful suggestions in the moment. In other words, to be a more helpful assistant. So let me show you how this works. And I have my shiny new Pixel 8a here to help me.
Finally. The phone announcement that was buried by Apple's
my
iPhone
friend Pete
announcement.
is asking if I want to play
pretty color.
pickleball this weekend. And I know how to play tennis, sort of. I had to say that for the demo. But I'm new to this pickleball thing. So I'm going to reply and try to be funny. And I'll say, is that like tennis, but with pickles? This would be actually a lot funnier with a meme. So let me bring up Gemini to help with that.
This is one time when
And
you're
I'll
glad to be a
say,
green bubble.
Create
It's just like a
image
pickle.
of tennis with pickles. Now, one new thing you'll notice is that the Gemini
That's
window
better
now
than
hovers in place
searching Jiffy
above the
for
app,
a
so that I stay on the flow.
an image. Oh, look at that.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
that generates some pretty good images. What's nice is I can then drag and drop any of these directly into the messages app below. So, like so.
Your Android
Cool, let me
messages
send
is
that.
going to be a lot more annoying going forward.
And meme makers today are crying.
All right,
They're
so
being
Pete's typing,
unemployed.
and he says, he's sending me a video on how to play pickleball. All right, thanks, Pete. Let's tap on that. That launches YouTube. But I only have 1 or 2 burning questions about the game, and I can bring up Gemini to help with that. And because it's context aware, Gemini knows I'm looking at a video, so it proactively shows me an Ask This Video chip.
That's
So
good.
let me tap on that, and now I can ask
As long as the video's on
specific
YouTube,
questions
right?
about the video. So for
Synergy.
example, what is can't type the 2 bounce rule? Because that's something that I've heard about but don't quite understand in the game. By the way, this uses signals like YouTube's captions, which means you can use it on billions of videos.
On
so
YouTube.
give it a moment, and there.
Only on
You get a
YouTube.
nice, succinct answer.
Don't ask
The
it
ball
about
that stands
Vimeo.
That's
on each
pretty
side of the
crazy.
court,
That's great.
After a serve. Okay, cool. Let me go back to messages.
And you do
And
have
he
this
follows
giant
up. He
corpus of
says,
information
You're an
in
engineer,
YouTube.
so here's the official rule book for pickleball.
So the question is this going to make using an Android that much more appealing, or are they going to eventually roll it out on the YouTube?
That's a good question.
84-page PDF.
Of course, notoriously, OpenAI invented
Anyway,
Whisper
most
AI, their
engineers, as you all
transcription
know, like to work
technology,
smarter, not
so they
harder.
could transcribe
instead of
billions of
scrolling
YouTube
through this
videos
entire
and
document,
ingest it
I can pull up
for
Gemini to help.
ChatGPT.
And again,
A violation of
Gemini
YouTube's
anticipates
rules,
what
but
I need
they got away
and
with it.
offers me an Ask This PDF option. So if I tap on that, Gemini now ingests
And they still
all the
won't say
rules
whether they've
becoming
used YouTube
pickleball
videos to train Sora.
And that means I can ask
but obviously
very
they have,
esoteric
right?
questions.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
Saying
for
they,
example,
I won't say,
are
is basically
in,
saying, of course.
Oh my God, they like squirm on stage when they're asked it. It's hilarious.
And let's
It's
look
like,
at that.
If you can't say
YouTube
no,
train
you
Sora.
did.
Now, because I'm a Gemini
And they're like,
advanced
we
user,
think that
this
AI
works
is a
on any
magical
PDF.
technology,
It takes
and
full
what we really
advantage
want to
of
do
long
is be
context
very
windows.
careful on the
And there's
details.
lots of
Never
different
ask
everybody
the
gets the
magician.
experience
For
they
example,
need.
How they do the
let's say
trick.
you're looking for a quick answer in an appliance user manual.
This answer is always a YouTube.
And there you have it. It turns out, nope, spin serves are not allowed. So Gemini
No
not
spin
only
serves
gives
in
me a clear
pickleball.
answer to
I'm
my
That's
out.
interesting.
question,
I've
it
learned
also
so
shows
much
you
about pickleball
exactly
today.
where in the PDF to learn more. Awesome.
If there's one thing we all take away
Okay.
from this, it's the rules of pickleball.
And you thought this wasn't going to be an educational
So
event.
that's a few of the ways that we're enhancing Gemini to be more context-aware and helpful in the moment. And what you've seen here are
It is
the first really many
completely
new
Gemini
ways
day.
that Gemini
Everything
will
has so far
unlock,
has been
Yeah,
Gemini.
even the
your
Android
Everything.
demo is a
Yes.
Gemini demo.
And they're only
Yes.
available on Android.
It's kind of what I said at the beginning. It's like they have real direction and purpose now.
Yep, you're exactly
And a
right,
company
Alex.
like Google that ships like on that with that type of
Now,
focus
building
can
Google AI directly
can
to
be,
iOS
you know,
elevates the
I don't know,
entire
relevant,
smartphone experience.
impactful.
And Android is the first
A lot of people
mobile
wrote Google
operating
off in the
system
very
to
beginning here,
include
but
a
obviously
built-in
they
on-device
didn't write themselves
foundation
off.
model.
What did
This
Geno
lets us
Smith
bring
back?
Gemini
Did
goodness
Geno
from
Smith
data
say
center right into your pocket.
you all wrote me off,
So the
but I didn't write
experience
back?
is faster.
That's a good line.
Starting with Pixel
Yeah.
later this
Little
year,
sport ball
we'll be
reference there.
expanding what's possible with our latest model, Gemini Nano.
By the way, to
with
answer your question, they
multimodality.
said only on
This
Android,
means your
although
phone
they've said
can
that before and
understand
then
the
released it
way
later
Yeah.
for other
understand it.
platforms.
So not just through text input, but also through sights, sounds, and spoken language.
This multimodal is
Let me give you
actually
an
very
example.
interesting. And
2.2
both
billion
companies are
people
doing this. but-
experience blindness or low vision. So several years
Just like
ago,
we need
developed
glasses, right? Like that's basically
an
what this all is
accessibility
up to.
We
feature
need
that helps
glasses.
people navigate their phone through touch and
Maybe the
spoken
Meta Ray
feedback.
Bans are the thing.
Helping with images
I don't
is
know.
especially important. In fact, my colleague Caro,
I've been playing with it a little bit, and
will typically come across
it's interesting how well it
90
does. It's not there yet, but it's a
Factoring,
first step in the
TalkBack
right
makes it
direction.
accessible.
I've also ordered,
And
as
now
I
we're taking that
mentioned
to the next
before, the
level
Brilliant
with the
Labs
multimodal capabilities
glasses
of
with a
Gemini
heads-up
Nano.
display. That could be even
So when
potentially
someone
better.
sends Caro a photo, she'll get a richer and clearer description of what's happening.
So this is
Or
all
let's say Caro is
text
shopping online for an
generated by
outfit.
AI, which is
Now
probably
she
a
can
good
get
thing.
a clear
And this is Be
description
My
of the
Eyes. This
style
is
and
what
cut
OpenAI
to
announced
find
yesterday.
The perfect look. Running Gemini Nano on device helps minimize the latency.
On device,
And the model even works when there's no network connection.
This is one thing
These
Google
improvements
is
to
ahead on
TalkBack
is
are
on
coming later
device
this year.
and really crunching their models down.
Let me show
to
you another
fit on a
example
smaller
of what
device.
on-device AI can unlock. People lost more than $1 trillion to fraud last year. And as scams continue to evolve across texts, phone calls, and even videos, Android can help protect you from the bad guys, no matter how they try to reach you. So let's say I get rudely interrupted by an unknown caller right in the middle of my presentation. Hello?
Hi, I'm calling from SafeMore Bank Security Department. Am I speaking to Dave?
Yeah, this is Dave. Kind of in the middle of something.
We've detected some suspicious activity on your account.
Oh, sure you have.
Someone is trying to make unauthorized charges.
Oh yeah, what kind of charges?
I can't give you specifics over the phone, but to protect your account, I'm going to help you transfer your money to a secure account we've set up for you.
Oh, look at that. Look at
My phone gives me a warning that
likely
this call might be a
scam right there. Very good.
That's awesome.
That's what
That is
AI can be.
That is good.
Yeah, that's great. It detected that in the
Gemini Nano
conversation.
alerts
That's
me
great.
the second it detects
If only
suspicious
that
activity. Like
poor
the bank
woman
asking
who
me to
gave
use my money
$20,000 to a fake FBI
And
agent
everything
in a
happens
suitcase
right on my phone.
would have had this
so
on her
the audio
Android.
processing stays completely private to me and on my device. We're currently testing this feature, and we'll have more updates to share later this summer. And we're really just scratching the surface of the kinds of fast, private experiences that on-device AI unlocks. Later this year, Gemini will be able to more deeply understand the content of the screen without any information leaving your phone.
Recently, the CEO of WPP, which is a big advertising agency,
pickleball example earlier?
said he
Gemini
nearly
and
fell,
Android will be
or I
able
guess
to
he did fall
automatically
victim to a deep fake that involved
and
voice
provide
cloning the
relevant
boss
like
to
where to
solicit
find
money,
pickleball
Mark
clubs
Reed
near me. And this is a
of
powerful concept that will
WPP.
work across many apps on your phone.
Oh, I know. We used to know.
In
Yeah.
fact, later today, at the developer keynote, you'll hear about how
During
we're
the
empowering our
meeting,
developers
Crooks deployed a fake
with our
artificial
latest
intelligence
AI
generated
models
voice
and
of
tools
Reed
like Gemini Nano and Gemini in Android Studio. Also,
with another
stay tuned
WPP
tomorrow
executive
for our upcoming Android 15 updates, which we can't wait
saying
to
hand
share.
over some money and personal details. Didn't work.
As we said at the outset, we're reimagining Android with Gemini App.
But we're seeing this more and more.
From your favorite app
And it often
to
does
the OS
work.
itself. We're bringing the power of AI to every aspect
And
of
only
the
Google
smartphone
can
experience.
save us.
Only Google can save
And with
us.
that, let me head over to Josh. To
Yeah, I wonder
share
how
more
Apple
on
will
our use
respond
for
to stuff like
developers.
this. You know,
Thank you.
they could presumably do that. Are they going to? Would
Yeah,
they
but I think
license that
there's
from Google?
privacy.
They've got to
concerns
license it.
there
They don't
if
have
they're
the data
listening to your
sources.
calls.
Thanks, Dave. It's amazing to see Gemini Nano do all of that directly on
Now,
an
this is
Android
the
phone.
developer part here.
That was our plan all along, to create a natively multimodal Gemini in a range of sizes, so you all, as developers, can choose the one that works best for you. Throughout the morning, you've heard a lot about our Gemini 1.5 series, and I want to talk about the two models you can access today. 1.5 Pro, which is getting a series of quality improvements that go out right about now, and the brand new 1.5 Flash. Both are available today globally in over 200 countries and territories. You can go over to AI Studio or Vertex AI if you're a Google Cloud customer to give them a try.
I just got the update.
Now, both of these models are natively multimodal. That means you can interleave text, images, audio, and video as inputs and pack that massive 1 million token context window. And if you go to ai.google.dev today, you can sign up to try the 2 million token context window for 1.5 Pro. And we're also adding a bunch of new developer features, starting with video frame extraction. That's going to be in the Gemini API. Parallel function calling, so you can return more than one function call at a time. And my favorite, context caching.
So
you
this
can
is
send
basically
all of
giving
your files
third-party
to the model
developers
once
access to
and
these
not
kinds
have
of
to resend them over and over again.
multimodal AI
That should make the
features
long context
in
even
their
more
apps.
useful and more affordable. It ships next month. Now, we're using Google's infrastructure to serve these models, so developers, like all of you, can get great prices. 1.5 Pro is $7 per 1 million tokens, and I'm excited to share that for prompts up to 128K, it'll be 50% less for $3.50. And 1.5 Flash will start
OpenAI's
at
price list.
35 cents per 1 million tokens.
But of course, they also announced price cuts.
Now, one thing you might be wondering is which model is best for your use case. Here's how we've been thinking about it on the team. We use 1.5 Pro for complex tasks where you really want the highest quality response. And And it's okay if it takes a little bit longer.
GPT 4o is $5 for a
We're
million
using
tokens.
1.5 Flash
So it's
for
less
quick tasks, where the speed
for
of the
input
model
and
is what matters
$15
the
for a million
most.
tokens output.
And as a developer, you can go.
I have
try
little
the
sense
code
of what
today
million
and see
tokens
what
buys you.
works
I
best for
know, I
you.
don't either.
In terms of
Now, I'm
functionality.
going to show
But
you how
at
it
least
works here
we
in
can
AI
compare.
Studio, the fastest way to build with Gemini. We'll pull it up here.
GPT 3.5
And you
Turbo
can see this is AI
is, of course, a
Studio.
lot less.
It's free to use.
We're
You don't
talking
have
50
to configure
cents
anything
for
to
input
get
and
going.
$1.50 for output.
You just
for a
go to
million.
aistudio.google.com, log in with your Google account, and you can just pick the model here in the right that works best for you. So one of the ways we've been using 1.5 Flash is to actually learn from customer feedback about some of our lab
1,000
products.
tokens is about
Flash makes
750
this
words.
possible with its low latency. So what we did here is we just took a bunch of different feedback from our customer forums. You can put it into Flash, load up a prompt, and hit run.
How many words in the
Now, in the
Gutenberg
background, what it's
parenthesis,
going to do
Jeff?
is
Do you
it's going
know?
to go through that 93,000 token pile of information, and you can see here, start streaming it
120,000?
back. Now,
So
this is
that
really
would be
helpful because it pulls out the themes for us. It gives us all the right places where we can start to look. And you can see this is from some of the benefits from Notebook LM, like we showed
about
earlier.
100,000, maybe 80, 90,000
Now, what's great about
tokens.
this is that you can take something like this in AI Studio,
Okay.
prototyped here in 10 seconds, and with one click in the upper left, get an API key, or over here in the upper right, just tap Get Code. And you've got all of the model configurations, the safety settings.
You're watching
ready to go
coverage
straight
of
into
Google
your IDE.
I/O. We've covered Android
Now,
15
over
very
time,
briefly and
you
only in
find
an
that you
AI
need
context.
enterprise-grade features.
Now we're
You
talking
can
about
use the
developer
same
APIs
Gemini
for
1.5 models,
Gemini.
the same configuration,
We also have seen
right in Vertex AI.
new pricing, lower pricing
That
for
way, you can
Gemini.
scale up
Earlier
with
on,
Google
we showed
Cloud
some.
as your
They showed some
enterprise
new
needs
features
grow.
of Gemini Ultra.
So that's our newly
Alex
updated
Kantrowitz
Gemini
has been with us
1.5
from
Pro
the Big Technology
and the new
Podcast. I know you have to get out of here,
1.5
Alex.
both of which
We
are
thank you so
available
much.
today
Everybody should subscribe if you want to know more
you'll hear
about
a
this
lot
kind of
more
stuff
about
at
them in the
bigtechnology.com.
developer
It's really
later today.
worthwhile, and you get some great interviews, including, now I know how to say it, Demis Hassabis.
Well, hopefully coming up within the next couple months, but we have Dwarkesh Patel coming on tomorrow. He's an up-and-coming AI interviewer and some other great stuff. I'm heading out right now to go interview Peter Diamandis, so that should be interesting.
Great.
Talking about longevity and his friendship with Elon and artificial intelligence, so that should be up in the field.
That'll be really interesting.
Lots of great stuff. Thank you, Alex, for being with us.
Prize. Thank
Really
you, Alex.
appreciate what
for
you've
having
added
me.
to the conversation today. Thank you.
You bet, definitely. Great to see you guys, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you. Alex Kantrowitz, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll pause briefly and for a word from our sponsor. We'll get right back. Don't worry, we're going to pause the video. You won't miss anything about recurrent and code Gemma. All right, I'm going to have Benito press the pause button briefly. You won't miss a second. We're going to get right back to Google I/O in a second, but I do have to mention our fabulous sponsor, Yahoo Finance. You know, when I wanted to see how's Google doing, how's the stock doing, how's the market reacting to Google I/O, of course, I went to yahoofinance.com. That's, to this day, it's always been the place I've gone from day one to keep track of my investments, to see how the market's doing, to see how individual stocks are doing. And you probably see me do it all the time. When I show a graph, it's always from Yahoo Finance. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done everything. You've saved. I know you have. You're good, right? You've researched. You've invested all you can. Well, are you ready to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great has used for the last 25 years? Yahoo Finance. Let me tell you something. When you get to be my age, you're not putting money in. You're taking money out of the retirement. It's really important you manage it well. Yahoo Finance is the tool you need. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for extra guidance, Yahoo Finance provides all the tools, all the data you need in one place. A holistic view of the entire financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, and more. And you should do what I did, which is I linked all my accounts, including my brokerage accounts, my bank account, everything, all my investment accounts into Yahoo Finance. So when I go to that front page, I get a unified view of my net worth, how my investments are doing. That includes my 401k, my retirement funds, my savings. I think this comprehensive perspective is what distinguishes successful investors. There's no good in not knowing. You got to know what's going on. And Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to examine your wealth in its entirety. And man, with 90 million users every month, that's testament to the fact that Yahoo Finance gets the job done. Their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. Martin in Germany says in our Discord, why is Leo picking all the companies and services I love? I love Yahoo Finance. Use it every day. Cool, comprehensive website. Exactly, Martin. You nailed it. All right, time to press the play button and get back to Google I/O.
Gemma, our first vision language open model, and it's available.
Well, we're back just in the nick of time to learn about Gemma.
It's optimized
Not
for
polygamy.
a range of image captioning, visual Q&A,
Not polyamory.
and other image labeling tasks. So go give it a
Gemma.
try. I'm also too excited to announce that we have Gemma 2 coming. It's the next generation of Gemma, and it will be available in June.
It's a terrible name.
One of the top requests we've heard from developers is for a bigger Gemma model, but it's still got to fit in a size that's easy for all of you to use.
Gemma is
So in a few
basically
weeks, we'll be
Gemini
adding a new 27 billion
to smaller
parameter
models
to
that you
Gemma
can run
2.
on your
And
devices.
here's what's great about it.
And they call these open
This
models,
size is
much like
optimized
Llama
by NVIDIA to run on
and
next-gen
Mistral.
GPUs.
You could download the model and use it
can run
yourself.
efficiently on a single TPU host.
Can you get a
in
TPU
Vertex
in
AI.
a
So
phone?
this quality to size
No,
ratio is amazing
in a,
because it'll
computer.
outperform models. more than
Not that I
twice
know
its
of. I think you have to do it in the Google Cloud.
We can't wait to see what you're going to build with
But I'm not clear on the advantages of a TPU over the what Microsoft calls NPUs, neural processing units,
To wrap up,
or Apple
I want
calls
to
its
share this
machine learning
inspiring
units
story
in
from
its
India,
processors.
where developers
I think
have
there
been
are
using
similar
Gemma
capabilities
and its unique
in
tokenization
all the
to
newer
create
processors.
Navarasa, a set of instruction-tuned models to expand access to 15 Indic languages. This builds on our efforts to make information accessible in more than 7,000 languages around the world. Take a look.
So Gemma is the kind of the open llama version of Gemini.
Language is a very interesting problem to solve, actually. And given India has a huge variety of languages and it changes every 5 kilometers.
By the way, that
I
was
just
English.
love that accent.
That was English.
For a particular culture,
Wow.
it won't be able to solve and understand the nuances of a country like
But you
India.
can see the difficulty in
One of Gemma's features
speech
is an
agent.
incredibly
Yep.
powerful tokenizer, which enables the model to use hundreds of thousands of words, symbols, and characters across so many alphabets and language
the
systems.
Tensor
This
processors
large
have
vocabulary
GPUs in
is
them, says
critical to
Addison.
adapting Gemma to
That
power
was the whole
projects
idea of the
like
Tensor
Navrasa.
processors in the latest Pixels.
Navrasa is a model that's trained
It's just
for
their
Indic
version of an
languages.
NPU.
It's a fine-tuned model based on Google's Gemma. We built Navrasa to make large language models culturally rooted, where people can talk in their native language and get the responses.
This
in
is
their
interesting
native
because
language.
Google's
Our
always
biggest dream
been
is to build
aggressively
a
international.
model to
And
include
OpenAI is very
everyone
much
from all corners of India.
तो हमें AI को यूज करके एक ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए
even though they did
कोई भी
announce
पीछे ना
new
रहे और हर कोई
multi-language
इसको
models
use कर
yesterday.
Today, the language that
Well,
uses
again, Google has a
is the
tremendous
tool
amount of
and the
data from all of
technology
those
that you
places,
use
not just
for
web
solving
data,
your
but usage.
real-world problems.
I think Google's in
That's
a
the power of generative AI.
very
that we
strong
want to bring
position
to
here.
Every corner of India.
Not talking to you,
the entire
Google.
world.
There is they used to be a very trusted brand. I think there is to some degree, less trust for Google. I mean, it's more than Meta, but maybe a little less than Apple. At least that's my sense of
Listening
it.
to everything that's been
Well, when they
announced
dropped their
today,
motto, it was pretty bad.
it's clear that AI is already helping people from their everyday tasks to their most ambitious, productive, and imaginative endeavors. Our AI innovations like multimodality, long context, and agents are at the cutting edge of what this technology can do, taking to a whole new level its capacity to help people. Yet, as with any emerging technology, there are still risks. and new questions that will arise as AI advances.
We're told this is a 2-hour keynote, so they've got about 20 minutes left. It does feel like they're starting to wind it
we're
up.
guided by our
Yeah,
AI
it does.
principles, and we're learning from our users.
Yeah, we're in the
partners,
ethics part.
and our own
Right.
research. To us, building AI responsibly means both addressing the risks and maximizing the benefits for people and society. Let me begin with what we're doing to address the risks. Here, I want to focus on how we are improving our models and protecting against their misuse. Beyond what Demis shared earlier, we're improving our models with an industry-standard practice called red teaming, in which we test our own models and try to break them to identify weaknesses. Adding to this work, we're developing a cutting-edge
This is such a
technique
difficult
we call
challenge, and
AI-assisted red teaming.
Google has had
This
real
draws on
problems
Google DeepMind's gaming
with models
breakthroughs
they've
like
released into the
AlphaGo,
wild after presumably all of this red teaming being hacked almost instantly.
improve and expand the scope of their red teaming
I
capabilities.
wonder if it's really possible
We're
to
developing
be
AI
safe.
models with these capabilities.
My argument is that it's a general machine, like a printing press. You cannot predict everything bad that anyone would ever do with it. Guardrails are all but futile.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you don't do certain things, but you make no assurance, no warranty of safety of anything.
Independent experts
Someone will find a way to misuse it.
civil society.
In fact, the more you say there is safety, the more they're going to try to misuse it.
Risks from cybersecurity
Yeah, it's a challenge.
threats to potentially dangerous capabilities in areas like chem bio.
It's different if it's a self-driving
Combining
car.
Cuban insight with our
There, you could say it's a single-use
will
machine, and
help
it should
make
be
our models
built so it doesn't kill people.
more accurate, reliable, and safer. This is particularly important as technical advances like better intonation make interactions with AI feel and sound more human-like.
This is
We're doing a lot of
stochastic
research
parrots.
in this area, including the potential for harm and misuse.
There's harm in the very
We're also
nature
developing
of these
new
things
tools
because
to
you
help
say,
prevent
oh,
the misuse
it's human,
of our
or
models.
I
For
trust it,
example,
or
Imajen
computer
3
it doesn't
and
make
Leo
mistakes.
create more realistic imagery and videos.
And they're
We
also
must
telling us
also
to
consider how
implicitly
they might
trust
be
it.
misused
You know
to
what I
spread
mean?
Yeah.
misinformation.
Yeah, I think that's a problem,
To help,
frankly, for Google.
last year,
Yeah, it is.
we introduced
I'd almost
SynthID, a
prefer
tool that
OpenAI's
adds
approach, which is,
imperceptible
hey, you know,
watermarks to our AI-generated images and audio.
we're just going to do this
so
as
that
fast
they're
as we
easier
can.
to identify. Today, we're expanding SynthID to 2 new modalities, text and video.
And this all comes from Google's real
These
sensitivity
launches
over
build
the
on our
diversity of
efforts
those
for
images
state-of-the-art
that were
watermarking
produced.
capabilities across modalities.
And I think we're
Moving forward,
misguided,
we'll keep
frankly. I
integrating
think that they
advances like
I think so, too.
they fell into
watermarking
a
and
trap.
other emerging techniques.
Yeah, it was an
Secure our latest
anti-woke
generations
trap.
of Gemini,
And
Imajen, Lyria,
what Google showed was
Leo
an
models.
effort to show
We're
what
also
what's history
committed
should have
to
been.
working with the ecosystem with all of you
I do like it that
to help others build on
they're going to
the
do
advances we're
watermarking
making.
with
And
their
in the
AI
coming months, we'll be
content.
open
This is
sourcing
called
SynthID text
SynthID.
watermarking. This will be
So
available
most of the
in our
experts
updated
are
responsible
dubious about
generative
how
AI
useful it's going to be.
I feel
which
like
we created to
anything
make
you
it
put in, you
easier
can take
for
out.
developers
There's always the
to
analog
use AI
hole.
responsibly. We're also collaborating
Sorry,
with
Benito.
Yes.
There's always the analog hole.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we support C2PA, collaborate with Adobe,
But at
Microsoft,
another level,
startups, and many
if we could get more metadata
build and
associated with more
implement
images,
standards that
and it's not
improve the
misused, that alone is useful.
of digital media. Now, let's turn to the second and equally important part of our responsible AI approach, how we're building AI to benefit people and society. Today, our AI advances are helping to solve real-world problems like accelerating the work of 1.8 million scientists in 190 countries who are using AlphaFold to work on issues like neglected diseases, helping predict floods in more than 80 countries.
So
and
this is
helping
like the real
organizations
good
like the
application of
United
AI
Nations
right here.
track progress.
Yeah.
on
But
the
it's
world's
buried at the
17
very end
Sustainable
of this
Development
thing.
Goals.
And Manika was brought in specifically for this. In fact, I think
And
he's the
now,
first
generative AI is unlocking new ways for us
executive
to
in
make
charge
the
of,
world's information and
they call it
knowledge
technology and society.
universally accessible
So
and
this is a
useful
new
for learning. Billions of people already
kind of
use Google
effort by
products
Google to
learn every
be
day.
ethical.
And generative AI is opening up
and
new
helpful.
possibilities, allowing us to ask questions like, what if
He's basically
everyone,
their ethical
everywhere
heart.
could have their own personal AI tutor on any topic? Or What if every educator could have their own
And I remember when they brought him in,
the classroom?
but we talked about it on Twig.
Yeah.
Today marks
that
a new
it was
chapter
considered
for learning
a
and
big
education
deal.
at Google. I'm excited to introduce LearnLM, our new family
Although you
of
won't be happy to
models
know that he used to
based
work
on
at
Gemini
McKinsey.
and fine-tuned.
There's many of them out there.
LearnLM is grounded in educational
He was
research,
President Obama's
making
vice chair
learning
of U.S.
experiences
Global
more
Development
personal
Council at
and
the White
engaging.
House,
And it's coming to the products you use every day, like
and is vice
Search,
chair of the National
Android,
AI Advisory
Gemini,
Committee
and YouTube.
that was established by Congress
You've
to
already
advise
seen
the president
LearnLM on
on
stage
AI.
today when it helped Samir with his son's homework on Android.
Council for Foreign Relations,
let's see how
MacArthur
this works with the
Foundation,
Gemini
Hewlett
app.
Foundation, Aspen
Earlier, Cisco
Institute.
introduced GEMS, custom versions of Gemini that can act as personal assistive experts on any topic. We're developing some pre-made GEMS, which will be available in the Gemini app and web experience, including one called Learning Coach.
He was a
With Learning
visiting
Coach, you
scientist
can
at
get
JPL.
step-by-step study guidance.
He's an expert in
along with
robotics.
helpful
Yeah, he's
practice and memory
very
techniques designed to build understanding
accomplished.
rather than just give you the answer. Let's say you're a college student studying for an upcoming biology exam. If you need a tip to remember the formula for photosynthesis, Learning Coach can help. Learning Coach, along with other pre-made gems, will launch in Gemini in the coming months. And you can imagine what features like Gemini Live can unlock for learning. Another example is a new feature in YouTube that uses LearnLM to make educational videos more interactive, allowing you to ask a clarifying question, get a helpful explanation, or take a quiz. This even works for those long lectures or seminars, thanks to Gemini model's long context capabilities. This feature in YouTube is already rolling out to select Android users. As we work to extend LearnLM beyond our own products, we're partnering with experts and institutions like Columbia Teachers College, Arizona State University, and Khan Academy.
So his job really is
test and
to,
improve
he's
the
been
new
put in place
capabilities
to
in our models
promote
for learning.
safety,
And we've
AI
collaborated
safety
with
at Google.
MIT Raise to develop
It
an
remains to be
online
seen if
course
that's
to
just
help
Google's
educators
way of
better
saying, see, we're
understand
working on
and
it,
use
or if he
generative
really,
AI.
can
We're
get the
also
job
working
done.
directly with educators to build
I mean,
more helpful.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't try, you shouldn't do some things,
For
but you certainly
example,
shouldn't warrant that you will succeed in all
Right.
cases.
We're drawing on the
It's a
advances
very
we've heard about
difficult task.
today to develop new ways to simplify and
Because it's not the
improve
machine.
lesson planning
You're trying to predict what
and
people
enable
will do
teachers
with
to
it.
tailor lessons and content to
Could,
meet
can we make the internet
of
safe?
their students.
No. Of course
And that
not.
is the point of my
Standing here
book.
today,
Yes.
The Web We Weave,
back
coming
to
in
my own
October.
time as an undergraduate. Then AI was considered speculative, far from any real-world uses. Today we can see how much
It's
is
true
already
that
real.
there wasn't any concern
How
about
much
AI
is already
safety until
helping
fairly
people
recently.
from their everyday tasks
Because it was
to their
useless.
most ambitious, productive,
There was
and
no question.
imaginative endeavors. And how much more is still to come? This is what motivates us. I'm excited about what's ahead and what we'll build with all of you.
I'll be interested to see LearnLM at work on YouTube. This is basically like Notebook LM, but for YouTube videos. It lets you query a YouTube video. They say it's coming to select Android users. Here's Sundar Pichai back on stage to summarize everything we've just
All
learned.
of this shows the important progress we have made as we take a bold and responsible
No
approach
Chromebook.
to
Very
making AI
difficult,
helpful
different
for
Google
everyone.
I/O. This is
Before we wrap,
really more
I have a feeling that someone out there
Google
might be
AI
counting
than Google I/O.
how many times
Ooh, well
we've
said.
mentioned AI today. And since the big theme today has been letting Google do the work for you, we went ahead and counted so that you don't have to.
120 uses of the word AI in the talk today. Now, Sundar, you better not say AI again, or that's going to ruin that whole thing.
And not
That
one
might be a
5G.
record in how many
That's right.
times someone has said AI.
Oh, 121.
I'm tempted to say it a few more times, but I won't. Anyhow, this tally is more than just a
Because they didn't make the animation for that one.
Exactly
Something much deeper. We've been AI
You're a
first in our
cynic.
approach for a
You
long
see, he said
time.
AI again, and he
Our
didn't.
decades of
It didn't
research
go up.
leadership have pioneered many of the modern breakthroughs that power AI progress for us and for the industry. On top of that, we have world-leading infrastructure built for the AI era, cutting-edge innovation in search now powered by Gemini, products that help at extraordinary scale, including 15 products.
Be interesting to see if they release
Vio,
the video AI generator.
And platforms that enable everyone, partners, customers, creators.
Might be one of those things they announce at Google I/O and never release.
This progress is only possible because of our incredible developer community. You're making it real through the experiences you build
AI coming
every
to
day.
search
So to
starting
everyone
this
here in
week.
Shoreline and the millions more watching around the world, here's to the possibilities ahead and creating them together.
Ask
Thank
Photos
you.
coming to Google Photos. Or you can query your Google Photos.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
Bring back the bathrobe cannon. If you're tuning in late, I came in late. I missed it, but apparently the DJ that always opens these Google I/O events
This remind you of
was firing.
Schrodinger's cat.
See, that's that video. Don't show that again.
Right.
Actually,
When all of these tools come together, it's a powerful
we're going to wrap this up in just a moment. You're watching our coverage of Google I/O 2024. Maybe we should have called it Google AI with Jeff Jarvis. Alex Kantrowitz of Big Technology Podcast was here too. We'll have more in a moment. Let's wrap this all up. This, I think, very interesting Google I/O event in just a moment with our fantastic panelists. But first, a word from our sponsor, Melissa, the data quality experts since 1985. We've been talking about them since, I don't know, for at least 10 years, it feels like. Melissa has helped over 10,000 businesses worldwide harness accurate data with their industry-leading solutions. Get this, Melissa's processed over 1 trillion address, name, email, and phone records. That's a lot. And it's global. They're global bureau services, ideal for enterprises looking for trusted data service provider globally. They'll help you. Melissa will help you clean and verify your existing customer records. That's really important. Really important. Those records decay over time very rapidly, more rapidly than you might know. You can also eliminate duplicate customer records. So each customer touch point is a single touch point with all the information. You've got 99.99% uptime, so it's always there when you need it. And you can run it any way you want. On-prem as a SaaS app, they have an API. Run it from the cloud. They even have a secure FTP server you can upload and download to. And it can do so much. If you look at our video that we're showing you right now, you'll see you can add rooftop geocodes, ISO state, country codes, demographics, and more. This becomes suddenly a hugely valuable database of customer and supplier information. Melissa, consistently recognized and praised by its users each quarter on G2. They did it again for winter 2024, recognized as a small business leader and easiest setup. With Melissa, you get personalized service from a team with decades of experience, and they offer global support with scalable solutions. And of course, security is job one. They take good care of your data. Securely encrypted for all file transfers. They're compliant with ISO 27001, GDPR, HIPAA, HITRUST, SOC 2. Data's their business. Your data is safe with Melissa. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. That's Melissa, MELISSA, melissa.com/twit. Thank you, Melissa, for your support of This Week in Google. Well, I'm sorry to say, lost Alex Kantrowitz. He is off to talk to Peter Diamandis. That's pretty cool. But Jeff Jarvis is still here. Let's talk about what we just saw at Google I/O. Back to the promotional video.
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London.
So how much AI do you think there will be at Apple's?
Well, it's really, I think a lot. Apple's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. They see that this is happening. They made a big investment in VR with the Vision Pro. Their bread and butter is the iPhone, but their real problem is that they promoted privacy, and AI kind of, by its very nature, is hard to do without mining huge amounts of your customers' data.
Yeah.
So
they don't have it.
They don't have it.
They have less of it.
So I think that's why they're negotiating, we hear, with both Google and OpenAI to bring their models to the phone. But if you're doing a WWDC announcing, hey, we're going to use some other company's AI, isn't that exciting? Isn't really the kind of thing, it's not made here. So I think they have an interesting challenge to show that they are paying attention. I feel like Apple doesn't have a good story with AI, no matter what they say.
No, they don't. They don't. I think, I mean, they could do interesting things. They could license it on behalf of developers for Apple apps. You know, they could do things like that, but that's not very Apple.
Yeah.
They won't do that.
Yeah. Apple's a product company, and that's the most important thing. Google can talk about, you know, how we're changing search and stuff, but Apple makes physical objects, and I'm not sure exactly how they incorporate AI into it. It's going to make WWDC very interesting. I think it's June 10th. It's just a few weeks away. It's going to be very interesting, for sure. Google today didn't say anything we didn't expect. Very much like OpenAI yesterday didn't say anything we expect. We're making progress in AI. It's incremental progress. The day, you know, I remember when I first saw Stable Diffusion and was blown away by these text prompts that generated amazing images. I remember the first time we heard Suno generate a good song not so long ago. Those moments are going to get fewer and farther between until at some point we do have generative AI, if that ever happens. I think what OpenAI is doing is perhaps a little bit more interesting than what Google's doing. And I think you and I both agree Google is unfortunately in the position where they have to really focus on safety, something that they cannot achieve.
I agree, but I still say that Google is an unsung accomplishment when it comes to AI because as I've been saying, they've had it in all of their products for years.
Well, and most of the AI research is even from other companies. It
comes out of there.
Comes out of Google. Yeah.
Yeah. Tensor and what's the word I'm looking for? That the breakthrough for generative AI.
LLMs or and GANs and
transformers.
Yeah.
And Deepmind, but also just that they made the first breaks on translation using the transformer model. They did all kinds of things, and they've been trying to catch up, not so much the technology, but in the PR, and trying to say, well, we've been there. It's like the kid in the class who says, I knew the answer, I had the answer, you didn't call on me, right? And so I think that they actually don't get as much credit as they should. Now, that doesn't get that and whatever it is now, $3 buys you a ride on the New York subway. And don't tell me how much it is because I have a card and I don't know how much it is. I just put it through.
It's a token. It's just a token.
I get a senior discount and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. So it's about $500. I don't know how much. Anyway, it was interesting, Leo, to be able to. I'm glad we did OpenAI yesterday because it's interesting to contrast the two.
Well, where Google fails miserably is in branding. And that really shouldn't matter when it comes to technology. I mean, I think you're right. Their technology is undoubtedly is good. I was very impressed with Gemini Ultra as soon as I started paying for it. I now pay for Perplexity, Gemini Ultra, OpenAI, ChatGPT. They're all
Claude too. You pay for Claude, don't you?
And, no, I don't pay for Claude, but I think we have Claude. I think Anthony's paying for Claude or somebody. But they're all roughly the same, by the way, I might add. I wouldn't say anybody has a head start. I do also pay for Stability AI, or rather Midjourney AI, to generate images. So I have a lot of AI subscriptions, but I don't see a lot of difference between them. And the big difference here is Google's branding is not up to par.
It's crappy. No, I agree. But yesterday we mentioned that Sundar had done an interview with Bloomberg Business Week, I think it was, and he said, basically LLMs won't get us there.
Right.
But there's another leap to be had, or probably more than one leap. And I think that leap has to come down to credibility. This whole shtick of hallucinations is BS. It has no sense of meaning. Can it gain a sense of meaning? Can it ever be trustworthy when it comes to fact? All Google's had to do all these years is understand what we say and give us a whole bunch of relevant things. Does Wolfram Alpha, has it been farther ahead and it's getting ignored?
In certain areas in mathematics, Wolfram Alpha is far
way ahead.
Yeah. I think the most important thing you're seeing here really is it's a battle of the brands. The technology is advancing roughly equally in all the companies and is advancing steadily and is advancing very interestingly. Sam Altman is the new Steve Jobs. He's a very, very good marketer and has done a great job positioning OpenAI. Google is your sad uncle who's a great inventor, but it just doesn't seem to come up with very good brand names and is not able to really show what he does, just really mishandles it. What's funny is Apple, which is a great marketer, doesn't have the story, the technology story to tell.
No, they don't.
I think we're in a very interesting transition period. I really believe that OpenAI, given the marketing genius of Sam Altman, is probably in the lead here. But Google is not to be discounted. They are the Sherman tank of AI.
Well, the other one that's out there that I keep on saying, I think, is Meta, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Meta is, unlike Apple, or like Apple, Meta's wouldn't seem in the AI business, but it very much is. It has tons of data to work with. In Jan LeCun, it has a pioneer who has a different view of how models are done, and it's gone the Android trick of going open source.
I think, though, dogmatism is really the problem for many of these companies. Each of them has a position. Meta has a position about AI. Google has a position about AI.
Yes.
Apple has a position about AI. And this is why OpenAI has an advantage, because they are completely devoid of scruples, dogma, morals. They're just going to get it done, whatever it takes. And dogma is what gets in your way. It's Jan LeCun saying, no, it's going to be this way. Sundar Pichai saying, no, it's going to be this way. I think that's what gets in your way. And Sam Altman seems to be, his attitude is, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. We're not going to worry about dogma, but we're just going to work as fast as we can to get to AGI. So if I were a betting man, I'd bet on that horse. However, I think it's very interesting. We're going to be in a really interesting world. What OpenAI does not have that both Google and Apple have is devices. The most logical device today for an AI chat bot is your phone. But as Alex was pointing out, and I think he's completely right, all of this is preparatory. Is the John the Baptist to the Jesus device, which will be a pair of glasses or something that is less, that you can have on all the time.
Well, the key to that, I think the most interesting moment that you caught on at the moment was, where are my glasses?
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Of course, you'll never ask that if what you're asking it of is glasses that you have on your head. It's going to say, they're on your head, stupid. Who are you talking to?
But you know why Apple can't do that? Because as soon as we saw that, we saw, Google was keeping track of everything it saw in the video and was able to scrub back and find the glasses. And that raises these great big privacy concerns. And this is where Apple is really stuck between a rock and a hard place. The stuff that they need to do to be useful for AI is stuff that they are dogmatically opposed to. And I think
they'll find a way around it. They'll redefine.
I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they will. We'll see. June 10th, WWDC will be here, sitting here, covering it. In fact, if you want, you can join us.
That'd be unusual.
It'll be kind of fun on the coverage. I think that they are in a bad place right now for this stuff. Although I have to say, when I use OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0, it's actually attached to the action button on my iPhone. In fact, let's just see if it's awake. It's been sleeping all morning because it's been so popular. Oh, now it's not. It's not even. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, see? Hey, good to talk to you again. Are you open to questions?
What's something new you're excited about these days?
I'm wondering who you think is going to win the AI horse race between OpenAI, Apple, and Google. Maybe she's awake now.
It's a tough call since all three are major players with unique strengths. OpenAI is leading in conversational AI. Apple is strong in integrating AI with their ecosystem, and Google has vast resources and data for innovation. What do you think?
I think I'm going to fire Jeff Jarvis and Alex Kantrowitz and have you host these from now on.
That's quite a compliment. Hosting sounds like a lot of fun. What would you want to focus on in your shows?
The deep love I feel for you and all you represent.
I appreciate that, Leo. It sounds like your shows would be filled with a lot of passion and interesting insights. What are some topics you'd love to dive into more deeply?
I'm sorry, Leo. I'm doing a show right now. I have to stop talking to you, but can we take
Wait, Leo.
Hold on. Yeah? What would you like to ask Jeff Jarvis? Jeff has a question for you.
No problem, Leo.
Oh.
Good luck with your show.
Bye. No, I was going to ask of her. I was going to ask of you, because you're the human. Could we do a show where that watches the entire show and we can ask questions of it as the show goes on?
We can do that. We can do that right now. Right, Anthony? Can we take it will take a minute, but we could take the transcript of what we've just seen and we could ask questions of it. Absolutely. That's the tokens they're talking about. The number of tokens is the database that you could query against. And in this case, this show, we do this.
Could we do that live as it's a guest?
I think so.
I think the processing of the transcript takes about 5 to 10 minutes. So
yeah, but I'm thinking if we, I don't know, did you see the OpenAI video of OpenAI 4.0 helping a kid do their math?
No, I didn't watch those yet. No.
Wow. I mean, let me see if I can find it on Twitter. It was here we go. I'll just play this for you.
Here with my son, and I love.
I watched this. Yes.
Him on this math.
This is Sal Khan.
But don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction. But I really want to make sure he understands.
Khan Academy, of course,
himself.
up until recently has been the place to get this kind of learning.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the
prosody?
I just wish it talked like a robot, personally.
You can. Well, no, it's very simple. You just tell it, talk like a robot. I have a prompt that I say, be concise and friendly, but not too chatty. So you can customize it. I actually want to figure out how I get it to sound like Scarlett like that, but that's something. That's my own personal problems. I am very interested in seeing what's going to happen. Jason Howell's tweet, real AI experts will download the full 2-hour keynote, export to MP3, run that through an AI transcriber, upload the transcript to Gemini, and ask it to do a comprehensive summary complete with headings and bullet points. And you know what? I don't think that's such a hard thing to do. It's on YouTube right now. You could probably have that in the next 5 minutes. So I really think we're in a very interesting time. We are not at AGI. Don't know if we'll ever get to AGI, but we are at the point where these are very useful. That video, if you continue to watch the Salman Khan video, is mind-boggling, and you could see.
Yeah, we had Sal Khan on AI Inside, and he was very eager to incorporate AI into what he does. One thing I tweeted while we were on the show, I didn't cheat too much. I only sent one tweet.
That's okay.
Was that moment when you could get an email of the video of the school board meeting and then ask it to summarize it for you. I've been pushing news organizations to do that for months now. And Hearst, in fact, is doing some of that. But in general, they're kind of lagging behind, and it just shows that Google just stepped ahead. Google can do it without the news organization.
Yeah.
It can give you greater value in local journalism in a way that we haven't conceived of yet. When we talk about saving local journalism means saving old reporters. To some extent, absolutely yes, but to some extent, no.
Yeah.
Use this technology. Figure out how to scale.
You and Jason Howell will be talking about this tomorrow, I'm sure, on AI Inside, your podcast, which is not on the TWiT network, but is available everywhere. Search for AI Inside.
Thanks to you for letting us workshop it.
Letting you. I mean, that's great. It was our honor and privilege, and I'm glad you're continuing to do it. To me, this is the most interesting area of technology right now, and we're covering it in all of our shows. This has been a kind of a special edition of This Week in Google because we wanted to cover the Google I.O. event. We'll come back next week with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis in our normal time, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5
Next week,
p.m.
also
Eastern.
joining us, Ed Zitron.
And Ed Zitron, who is
so he can
notoriously critical of the whole scene.
Bring his acid to this, yes.
I like it. The acid Ed Zitron will also be joining us next week. Jeff Jarvis, thank you so much. Wait a minute.
Thank you, boss.
We got to get at least one you know what in here. This is has been the Leonard Tao.
Sorry, we're on a different project.
We don't have it.
Oh no!
So in that case,
Craig,
Newmark. Go to Gutenbergbook.com. Gutenberg.com. Buy Jeff's current books, which are magazine and the Gutenberg parenthesis. And can you pre-order the Web We Weave?
Not from there yet, but you can
Soon.
from Amazon.
From Amazon.
The Web We Weave, yes.
Awesome. And I owe you a quote for the back of the book.
A blurb. Thank you very much.
I will give you your very own blurb.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
We didn't have the choir, but the barbershop quartet was in town, so we were able to do that. Thank you, Jeff Jarvis. Thank you to all of you for joining us for this special version of This Week in Google. And, of course, Benito Gonzalez, who came in, is on his day off to do the show. And
thank you, Benito.
Thank you.
No, it's not my day off. I work on Security Now usually.
Oh, okay. Well, Security Now is just around the corner after I get my gas station sushi. At about 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 20:30 UTC. If you are not yet a member of the club and you like this kind of programming and you want to see more of it, there really is only one way to ensure that. I'm sorry to say, I just heard word that there are even more layoffs coming to NPR. Many podcast networks have gone under. Many podcasts have disappeared because it's getting more and more difficult to survive as an ad-supported podcast. We saw this coming a couple of years ago. That's why we started Club TWiT. And it turns out it's a wonderful community of people like you who listen to our shows, who are smart, who have things to say, and you can be a part of that community. We'd love you to be a part of that community for just $7 a month. It supports the work we do. And I think you get some benefits, ad-free versions of all the shows. You get video for shows that we only put out in audio, like Hands on Macintosh, Hands on Windows, iOS Today. You also get special events. We did kind of a kooky event. Last Friday, we had a watch party for the 1927 Fritz Lang classic movie Metropolis, and I made brisket, and you were all invited. About 100 plus people watched the whole long movie with us. And that was a lot of fun. You also get access to the best part of the community, which is our Club TWiT Discord, where people get together, not just for the shows, but all the time to talk about the crazy stuff that's happening in the world and all the things that geeks are interested in. We'd love to have you in the club. Find out more, twit.tv/clubtwit. Come on, you want to be part of the party, don't you? It sure makes a difference from our point of view, so thank you to all our Club TWiT members. We do Twig normally every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us when we do shows live on YouTube, youtube.com/twit/live. But after the fact, you can always get a show from the website, twit.tv. In the case of Twig, twit.tv/twig. There is actually a YouTube channel dedicated to the video from This Week in Google. You can see that anytime. It's a great way to share clips, too, if you saw something and you thought, Uncle Joe would be really interested in this. You can make a clip of it and send it off to him from YouTube. Best way to listen or watch is probably subscribe in your favorite podcast player. That way you get it automatically, whether you need it or not. Just find a good podcast player. We like Pocket Casts. Apple Podcasts is good too. Subscribe there, and you'll get it automatically the minute we have polished it up. We're gonna put this out on a Tuesday, right? Even though Twig's normal day is Wednesday, so we'll put this out a little bit early. Normally the show comes out on Wednesday. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google.